for that. Okay, and welcome to what's probably if we get on with things, the penultimate session of all the day one scenarios. Today we are stepping into the shadowy, dark realm of Orrorsh. But at counterpoint to that shadowy darkness, you are all the happy members of a wedding party. You're staying in Madurai, a relatively large metropolitan city within India. You're going to be heading tomorrow on your way north to the small town of Chokmali for a wedding. Chokmali is the hometown of the groom, Rajan. Rajan, his bride, Madhura, and her parents went on ahead in his car. The rest of you hired a bus to get there, but you fell behind when your vehicle had mechanical troubles. So last night, you were unable to move beyond Madurai, but your driver, Sujit, has insisted and has guaranteed that the bus will be fine in the morning, and that's when you'll be heading there. Divya, last night you received, quite late, you received a call from Rajan saying that him and his party were nearly home, but the unseasonal storms were forming. And you know Chokmali is nested quite deeply in the jungle to the north, and it's reached towards its end by unpaved roads, which are quite treacherous during storms or at night. So he does say it's important that the bus arrive before dark. There were no more messages from Rajan the following morning, but mobile phone carriage is notoriously spotty, especially once you actually get into Chokmali. It is literally, it's a small village in the jungle surrounded by rice fields. And in fact, those of you with mobile phones on your gear list, which I think is a few of you, did notice the signal went down completely last night. And this morning, you've woken up bright and early with the plan to leave as quickly as possible. No one's getting any signal, email, or anything else. So it's early morning. You're in Madurai. Everything appears normal.
Apart from the reception.
Bustle. Apart from the reception, well, you can get reception around Madurai, but you're not getting any response from Chokmali or anywhere around those areas.
Yeah, the bus is going to be the important part. Well, so we're
ambivalent badger. Your inventory does say bus as one of the gear items.
Is it actually just like a miniature bus I have? Like
it's a minibus.
Pocket? Yeah, but like I just have an additional.
If you want to, you can have a small bus key ring. Yeah, no problem at all. But it's not like Ant-Man. You're not going to, and it's going to grow up into a full-size bus. It's a.
Oh.
I mean, as far as your bus is concerned, it's your pride and joy. You know you can rely on her because well, you've done most of the mechanical work yourself. Yesterday. You can't explain it. It was one of those things. Just sometimes, whatever happens, you get a situation where something breaks, and that was yesterday. You've been really wound up. You've got a reputation to keep. Have you seen Sense8?
No.
Have you seen any of the? They have the big buses in like Central Africa, things like that. This is that sort of private affair. This is your vehicle. No one else. You hire it out and you take the jobs on yourself.
Cool. Like an Indian chauffeur type job.
Pretty much, but with minibus scale.
Awesome. Wow.
So I'm assuming, are you delaying any, or you've still got the same passengers you had yesterday? Nobody has left you.
I guess I'll just inspect the vehicle again to see if anything seems off.
Give us a quick land vehicles roll just to give it a once over. I mean, you literally came close to dismantling and rebuilding the engine yesterday when you discovered the problem was just a simple issue with the airflow around the fuel injection side of things. That's a -4 in your land vehicles, which is still probably going to be relatively good.
Land vehicles is
it's off your decks, I think. Yeah, 8's a simple enough success. You give it a once over. Everything seems fine. The fuel mix or the issue you had yesterday with the air intake is not a problem. You know you're going to be going into rough areas, so you've taken extra precautions and double checked that the you've retrofit the actual air intake on the bus to be higher than the engine, just in case you have to drive through a flood. But you're a consummate professional and you're experienced in these situations, so you've done that for yourself.
I'm imagining sort of almost a Bond type vehicle that has all sorts of contraptions on it now.
Yeah, it could be bits you might have added, but
Like
not
a built-in raft, just in case.
Yeah, probably not that degree, but you've probably got a decent rescue kit in there. But you've certainly got a well-equipped toolkit, which is represented by your multi-tool. So you've got one of those big red heavy toolboxes with pretty much any kind of tool you'd need for car mechanics and the like within it.
Right.
You've not been able to get any raise, as I said, from Rajan or frankly anybody else that you know has headed on ahead. So little bit nervous. You leave Madurai. So you know the route. Sujit, you're a local, so you know exactly where everyone is going. You know the issues you're going to have on the road north, so you've prepped accordingly. But the first weird thing is, as soon as you hit the road heading north out of Madurai, you're probably a kilometre or two out of Madurai. Each of you at exactly the same time gets a shiver down your spine. That sort of somebody just walked over your grave situation. And it's proper shivery down your spine. And I'll give out the drama cards or the destiny cards, and then I will also give out each of your cosm cards. So, Vikas, your 4 cards for your destiny deck. Remember, until you've hit your moment of crisis, you can't do anything that's going to cost a possibility, even if it's coming from a card. So you're getting opponent fails.
Cannot see. You didn't turn it on.
Oh, I've done that again. Hang on. It's output on chat. Options. I have to do this every time, don't I? Options. Show GM rolls on. Right, I'll do your 4th one. Just to see if you can see the 4th one.
I see that one.
Right. So you also got coup de grace 43. So you can drag these from the images, yeah?
Well, give me a second to open the images.
Yep, no problem. So Inspire, you got already.
You said coup de grace 43?
Yep. Actually, what I'll do is I'll drag these ones over for you.
Okay.
So,
That would have been much easier, you know.
coup de grace.
Got 2 coup de grace 43s. Yay!
Okay, we'll get rid of the delete one of those. Opponent fails, and no, that's not the right one. That bit there. Normally, it doesn't matter where you put it, but normally I do hand in the bottom left, but that's. Sujit, you get drama, willpower, coup de grace, and rally.
Yay.
Shilpa, you get adrenaline, master plan, drama, second chance.
Cool.
Divya, you get
Master plan can be good.
willpower, supporter, and transfer. Now, the all-important cosm card. If you hadn't guessed, that shiver down your spine are because you have passed from whatever is keeping Madurai within core Earth's axioms to Orrorsh. Vikas, you get the damned cosm card. Sujit, you get the mark of terror. Shilpa, you get jump scare. And Divya, you get unholy interest.
You're going to be nice to me, guys. You're going to be nice to me.
Right. Damn. Play to take 1 to 3 possibilities from another player character. Make a corruption test at a penalty equal to the number of possibilities taken. Mark of terror. Play after witnessing some horrible event or creature. Your character gains a physical mark, such as a white streak in his hair, a strangely intense stare, or some other tell, and gain 1 possibility. Jump scare. The GM rolls a die. Odd, the scare was merely a frightened cat or other harmless trigger. Even the threat is real and some insidious sting attack. All Storm Knights gain 1 possibility. and unholy interest, play on a villain. He or she takes a special interest in your hero and does everything possible not to cause her permanent harm. This might be a romantic connection or a brotherly kinship. This ends only when the fiend perishes. Make a corruption test once per scene when the villain is encountered.
Wow. That there's like, hey guys, you're all gonna die. I'm okay though.
Yes, it may very well be. Now, I will reshare and bring each of your attentions to the time track.
A lot of
Each
argos.
token on here represents several hours of time. And once all the tokens are gone, it will grow dark and the road will become even more dangerous. So as you progress through the scenario, I will take tokens off the track. Please bear it in mind because, yes, once the 6th token is gone, night will fall.
Well, I wonder why I got I'll be a thick card for.
It's just random. Maybe the universe knows something we don't. So the road to Chokmali isn't normally busy, Sujit. But today you're feeling like you're making relatively good time as the road is completely empty. Totally empty. A few miles outside of Madurai, there are a few abandoned cars pushed off the side of the road. Or in one case, still smack bang in the middle of the road, you turned a corner only to find an abandoned 1985 Mercedes just in the middle of the road, which forced you to slow and dart around them. There isn't a soul in sight, as if everyone is at some festival rather than out travelling. After about another few miles, you know, there's a few carts mixed in with the cars, but there's no oxen in sight to pull them. But you know you're going into farming country, not heavy farming country in this direction, but farming country nonetheless. But yeah, you've not seen not a single oxen at all.
How large is this road?
In parts, it's wide enough for 2 vehicles. So like one, you could pass abreast, one vehicle going in both directions. You know that as you're getting closer to Chokmali, it is going to get narrower, significantly narrower. You know your bus it's big enough to take your bus, but there are parts where if you do meet a vehicle coming in the other direction, yeah, you are going to have to sort of argue a bit to see who has to reverse for up to 2 miles in order to let somebody else through.
Right.
So you just tell me what you want to do. If you want to continue or if you want to stop and investigate, just tell me and I'll stop talking.
Haven't seen anything yet.
No, just abandoned vehicles.
We need to get there.
Basically.
We need to get
you
there.
do indeed. About another 2 or 3 miles down the road. Most of you are locals. You know the local area relatively well. The jungle, you notice, is thicker and greener than you remember. And it's the first vehicle of any kind you've seen on the road for the last 2 or 3 miles since you had to drive around the Merc. But you pass on the left what looks like an old horse-drawn carriage on the other side of the road. Not a car, not a motorcycle, but an old-fashioned horse-drawn carriage and trap. Looking at it, you might think this is normally the sort of one where you'd have 2 horses. As you drive past slowly, so you have to, because you can't zoom past it. Yeah, it looks dinged and worn from use, but no sign of horses or oxen at all. And that is unusual. That would be.
Have we seen any people in any of these
None at all.
abandoned cars?
For the last you've been travelling for about 11, 12 miles now. probably about 20 or 30 minutes. Again, you can't get up a huge amount of speed on these roads. But you've not seen a single soul since you've left Madurai. Not a single soul.
Can we hear any like birds or?
Give us a find check.
I'm not going to stop the vehicle unless anyone tells me to.
Sure. You're doing as you're told. You've been told to get to the village, and unless the fare tells you otherwise, you're heading in that direction. I mean, it's a bit difficult. The bus doesn't have wind down windows, but it's got the sort of the top section of window that you can pull inwards to let some air in. Yeah, you could hear jungle noise, but it's not something you can't quite put your finger on. Doesn't sound right.
Well, I mean, it sounds like late 19th century jungle.
No, it's more. There are. Divya, I mean, you grew up around here. You know the sound of the jungle, and normally mixed in with the sound of the jungle, there is the sound of civilization. There's engine, there's aircraft going overhead, there's the sound of workers. It's apart from the sound of the bus, you've just got jungle noise. Those underlying hints of civilization aren't there.
Or we talk to. I presume. Do I know Shilpa as well?
You know Rajan through his little sister,
So
Coeli.
I know of.
So you know that Shilpa's a friend of Rajan's from work. You don't know anything about their particularly romantic history, and you have got no idea who the old priest is. You've never met him before.
Right.
And the driver's the driver. So, I mean, you're a little bit. I mean,
Shilpa.
yeah, Coeli is here, but she's sitting a bit quietly. She's fiddling at her phone, trying to work out why she can't get hold of her brother.
Ah, she's my friend, is it?
Yes, that's his little
Right.
sister. That's why you're here. You're friends with Rajan's little sister.
And she's on this bus.
Yes.
Excellent. So is she one of the players?
There's a 50-50 chance when Kerry gets here that he's either going to
could be
play
Kerry.
your mate or your brother's mate.
Ah, okay. So I'll probably
I was
talk
meant
to
to
her.
be- I was
however,
meant to say
without
Sarah.
her. I'll ask Shilpa if she's spotting anything, because she grew up around here then, presumably as well, or not.
Yeah, I mean, there wouldn't have been a chance for her to have been romantically involved with Rajan at an earlier point in her life if she wasn't in the same geographical area as Rajan. The only person who's not really a local is Vikas, because Vikas is friends with the bride, and the bride isn't local.
Dragged out of this back beyond.
I'll be talking to
Nope, Kerry
probably
just
Shilpa
connected.
generally about the lack of any mechanical noise and man-made noise. Why haven't we seen anyone? We should have seen something by now, or someone should have been passing by now. Things like that. Just chatting, not necessarily stopping the car or anything, but
Yep, no worries.
she's getting worried by the sounds of it as well, so I'll be stoking that fire with each other and getting ourselves all worked up.
Yep, doing the best thing in an enclosed environment with nerves, which, as you say, is
Yes.
stoking the nervous fire.
Ooh, it's all
Uh,
good. We're gonna die.
Is everything
And-
okay back there, ladies?
I've just never known it so quiet, so devoid of anything.
It's so strange today.
And Kerry just connected, so Kerry,
Well,
can you hear
good.
me?
No traffic.
Hi, yeah.
Right, you've connected on Fantasy Grounds. We need to determine now if you are Gaz's character's best mate and also the younger sister of the groom, or the groom's best mate who works with him at the office along with Shilpa, who is Skellen's character. So please roll me any dice at all. On a low result, you're going to be its sister. On a high result, you're going to be office mate.
Damn it!
Roll
You're off with
again.
fate. You are, yeah, on a 20. You
I
are, when you
truly
connect,
don't
you are
agree.
Shyam Virapur, who is essentially the best man. You are Rajan, the groom's best friend and best man. You've worked together for years, along with Shilpa. You were the inseparable, terrible three in the office, and you have your doubts that this wedding is right for your friend.
Is anyone here, apart from me, friends of the bride?
No. Like I said, it's horribly misogynistic. It doesn't even name the bride. We only know she's called Madura because you added to the storyline.
So which PC am I?
You are
Affiliated-
Shyam Virapur.
But no, which other PC am I?
You know Skellen's character, Shilpa. And essentially, you're all connected to the groom, who is not a player character.
Well,
That went on to his village last night.
I didn't actually see anything on my character saying I know any. But
Well, no, you're hired by the groom.
you're right.
So your link is you're an employee. Isn't the Indian caste system wonderful? So we'll just get Kerry up to speed. This morning you were staying in Madurai after your transport to the wedding broke down. The wedding's not until later today, so it wasn't a big problem. Rajan, his bride Madura, and her parents went on ahead in his car to the village of Chokmali, which is where the wedding is taking place. It is Rajan's home village. Last night, Divya, the little sister, received a call from Rajan saying he was nearly home, but unseasonal storms were forming, and he made sure that you knew this, and that tomorrow he wants to make sure you're there by dark because the storm will probably have hit you by that point. The following morning, you weren't getting any cell phone signal outside of Madurai. It's not unusual. The cell phone reception around here is quite spotty. But when you left Madurai, about a mile outside of town, a couple of kilometers outside of town, you got a shiver down your spine. You all did. As if somebody was walking over your grave. So you have Shyam, and your cards, can we give you your Destiny deck cards now, Kerry? Are Maelstrom, Seize Initiative, Martyr, and Flurry. And your Cosm card is Sinister Secret, which I'll just quickly read. Play to gain all the information available on some foe, mystery, or secret, but make a corruption test. Now, a corruption test is a willpower or spirit test against the target number I'll reveal. If you succeed, it's no problem. If you fail, you lose a point of charisma as the corruption that is intrinsic in the realm of Orrorsh takes hold. Along with the usual shared bits and pieces, we have an extra thing called a time track. There were 6 tokens on the time track. There are now 5 because you've been travelling for a while. Once there are no tokens on the time track, the sun will have gone down and it will be nighttime.
We need to be at the place.
You need to be at Chokmali, hopefully before nightfall.
Before, yes.
That's your aim. And we mentioned rain earlier. Sujit, can you please make me a find check as you're reviewing the road ahead?
11. My find is 8, so that's that's an 8.
Okay. In that case, you're going to get a -2 on this next test I'm going to ask you to make. Because as the journey progresses further, you can see the storm that Rajan obviously warned you about has hit. It started out as a little bit of light rain, drizzle, so you put the windscreen wipers on. But after a while, the road, which is now a dirt road at this point, becomes to get muddier and more difficult. You weren't able to spot the trouble early enough, so you do find yourself mired in a particularly muddy section, and you need to make me a driving roll, so a challenging, in your case, a difficulty number 14 land vehicles test, to quickly get yourself out of where you are stuck.
Next turn.
Remember, you can use cards that are not related to possibilities at the time.
So I'm at 12 now. Let's see if I have.
Your difficulty is 14 because of your lack of foresightedness. Perhaps you were worrying about the panicking ladies in the back.
Yeah, couldn't use willpower. Drama, no, that's...
Remember, you can still trade cards between your hands. If somebody else has got a card, they can give them a bonus
if anyone's
to
got-
a dexterity check.
Adrenaline.
Supporter. I can give you +3.
That would be nice.
This is an interesting question. Inspire.
Yes.
Do you get a possibility?
What does it sound? Is it everybody gets a choice, isn't it?
Yep.
It affects you as well, yeah. But obviously you won't get that, or you wouldn't be able to make that choice until you've reached your moment of crisis.
Okay.
Okay, so for a few minutes, the car or the bus is mired with one of its rear wheels spinning quite ineffectively against the mud. Then Divya gets up and just quickly pops out before you can get anywhere or say anything, and she just drags something and rams it under the back wheel, gets back on, and within a minute or so you're now moving again. What was your total, please?
Well, if it was 12 and then
15, yeah?
Yeah, 15. Yeah.
So it was a standard success. I'll just let you know. On a failure, you would have lost 3 time tokens. Bus got stuck in the mud and had to be freed. A success, you still lose some time, but you only drop 1 token.
I'm
Thanks
surprised
to the time.
this vehicle is still working.
I know.
My character isn't.
Don't
but-
disconnect. However, your progress is slowed slightly as the road is a lot muddier than it was. I said you were making about at most 25-30 miles an hour before. You're now roughly sort of between 15 and 20 miles an hour when you're making good time. And the road does grow a little rockier as you go deeper and deeper into the rural surroundings approaching Chokmali. The jungle on each side is becoming even more thick and oppressive. The last time you came up this road, for example, Sujit, you don't remember any branches or lania or liana or anything coming out or vines coming out of the jungle scraping along the sides of your bus as you make your way forward. But finally, the road opens up into a clearing. Now, any locals, yourself included, Sujit, you've done this road before, you recognise the lone petrol station serving vehicles from outlying villages. The bus doesn't need fuel at the moment, Sujit, but you're looking and you've been gunning the engine. A top off, you're at about 2/3 of a tank. Top off wouldn't hurt.
Right. Well, I'll ask the passengers what they think because I'm just servicing them.
I think a voice from on high is suggesting to us we should stop here.
Do we know how? Presumably, we know how far away we are now, so we'd know on average how long it would
You've
take.
made good time, I'd say, at this point. If you weren't delayed, you could probably get to Chokmali with 3 time tokens to spare at this moment in time. If everything goes as well as it's gone so far.
I forgot we were on the race against time.
That time is staying on my screen.
Keeping hold of the time track.
Yeah. I don't
mean,
like
keeping
being
his
late
options
to
open.
weddings.
Keeping his options open, Sujit has slowed down but isn't stopping. Everybody please make me a find check quickly.
My adventure sense tells me that there might be something worthwhile in there. Or something terrible, but it's guaranteed to be something.
$13. I think it's mine, doesn't it? Find
It is indeed.
13.
Minus 17, Divya.
Oops, no. I don't know where that minus came from. 17.
I think everybody apart from Vikas hears that. Carrier 14, I'll share the bonus chart again. Actually, do you know what? I haven't given anyone their character sheet, have I? The image one. You're all stuck on the other one. Let's do that quickly. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-doo. Characters. Divya, Ord. And it pops up on my screen. I need to close it. Coeli is not being played. Shilpa, Ord. Yeah, so anybody that got a 10, you hear a child's scream. And
Coming
that
from
was
where?
not a scream of the sort of, get away, get away. It was a scream of terror. Coming, you think,
I heard
Divya,
nothing.
you're certain that came from the garage, that came from the petrol station.
Well, Shilpa's
This is a
maternal
classic
instinct
petrol
kicks in.
station. You've got only two. You've got two petrol pumps outside. There's a large sort of garage affair to the left, and there's the small shop to the right-hand side.
Is the bus still moving? Have we stopped the bus? I'm going to shout, stop the bus! If it's not... What was that?
Okay,
Someone's in trouble.
I just, put a foot on the brakes.
It
And
stops.
into grinding halt.
Rush
With
up
the
to the
engine
door.
stopped, you can hear anybody that gets out of the bus. You can hear screaming and a whimpering from the same voice coming from the garage affair to the left inside the station's garage.
Don't worry, we're coming, I'll shout.
Do I know this particular garage?
You've probably stopped it once or twice.
Okay, so but would I be familiar with the interior and where, things might be? I don't know. Like if something was going to ambush us there, would I know where it come from?
Yeah, you've probably been in that garage more than once. There's space for two medium-sized cars. In there, there's a couple of snake pits, where they can get under the car, and that they've got a pulley system so they can drag the engines up out of things.
What you meant? A pit with snakes in it? Like
No, it's called a snake pit.
Exactly.
But I mean, you're in India. There may very well be more than one snake in the aforementioned snake pit. Shilpa, you dive off the bus and head towards the garage. There's two large, roller doors at the front, and there's a smaller blue metal door to the right of the right-hand roller door. It's open, and you can hear the screaming coming from within. What are you doing?
Well, I'm heading straight over there. Sounds like a kid in trouble.
Okay,
Don't worry, we're coming. He's probably trapped in a cellar or
You
something.
rush over to the door. The inside, you're still relatively early afternoon. The inside of the garage is well lit. Windows at the back are allowing sunlight to come through. It's a little bit gloomy because of the rain. It is drizzling outside still. The first thing I would like you to do, and anybody who is following Shilpa, I will need you to do this as well. I would like you to make a spirit or a willpower roll. Difficulties are only 10.
Is this me as well, did you say? Sorry.
Yep. Shilpa, you're Shilpa.
Spirit or willpower? Oh, they're the same thing, are they? I
Well, willpower is a skill based off spirit.
got you. That's not looking good.
Okay.
What do you mean wonderful? That's not wonderful.
Wonderful. You didn't
You
disconnect,
mean?
but it's a mishap. So, right. Divya, did you get at least 10?
14 is a 1. I
That's a
got
bonus number of 1. Your spirit or
9.
willpower? So
No.
you got a 9, so you didn't succeed either. Okay,
Okay.
so you are both. Although, okay, Shilpa, this will stop you from doing. You lose your first action in the combat rounds, which we're about to go into, and you're also very stymied until you complete your first action. So you're literally frozen in fear at what you're seeing. Divya, you are very stymied, but you are not losing your first action. Shyam has obviously followed as well. Wow, that looks like a guy at work. That looks scarily like.
It might be. It's just a random picture from the internet.
It's probably the guy from work. Probably his LinkedIn picture or something.
It could be. That might be. He wears glasses. He's got that exact beard. It's not him, but he looks so much like him.
That would be a hilarious coincidence if it was. Actually, your co-worker.
Right, there are no cars in the garage. I'll tell you that for the first thing. However, there is a young boy, from the look of it, probably about 8 or 9, who is currently clinging to the pulley chain on the ceiling that you would think would normally be used to lift engines. However, the thing that has shocked you all to your core, those of you that have so far gone over, is the fact that beneath the child are 3 ambulatory corpses. They look like desiccated human bodies, although they appear to be entwined throughout with jungle vines poking in and out through their rotting flesh. They do have patches of rotting clothing on their bodies, but you see them and they are almost soundlessly just reaching up, and they're not necessarily moving slowly. They're jumping and scraping towards the child. And you can see in the 2 attempts, you see them make, one of them sort of manages to get a decomposed finger claw to tag onto the child's jeans, and there's a brief second where it drags down and it looks like the boy is about to lose his grip, and then the creature lands back down on the floor, and the boy just continues weeping and crying and squealing. And our first combat round is called, hopefully for yours, we're in a standard scene, you spot a weakness. Now, you weren't making much noise, so the zombies do not see you. So they're, especially against their stymied, so they would have got a -2 on those. Their first action is to continue to just swipe up at the child. Heroes go. You can all go. Apart, actually, Kerry, what was Shyam's total? Actually, no, you weren't. You didn't get a mishap, so you're not lost your go. But you are very stymied for your first go. You all remember what that means?
No.
-4 on any check you do. Or +4 to any difficulty numbers. It's exactly the same thing. So, Divya, Shyam, you're closest. Shilpa is frozen in obvious terror. What are Divya and Shyam doing at this scene? You've each seen this vista ahead of you.
Are these things down the pit, did you say?
Nope.
They're
Although
just
looking at it, the pit that would be attributed to the vehicle space that the child is hanging over is currently covered with a sort of a sheet metal lining, a lid designed to cover it. So 1 or 2 of them probably are stood on that sheet metal, but not otherwise. Sujit and anyone else, you at the moment, you're still hearing this child screaming because he hasn't stopped and crying and whimpering. And this round, you can see that these 3 have run up to the door and they've seen something inside. You're not entirely sure what, but Shilpa's body language alone is quite telling. But we get to see what Divya and Shyam are going to do first.
What's he hanging from? Just some chain?
Chains. Essentially, they've got one of those chain pulley systems which you normally attach to the engine, and then you can pull it up, and he's literally hanging off of those chains, which you can see are suspended across a rack and pinion system across the roof.
Are they on like an arm, like that can move as well?
You look. Give us a find check.
Um, 6. So that is 14.
Yeah, you can see there is a mechanism by which you could move it like 4 or 5 feet to the left or right. Unfortunately, you follow the chains down and you see where the arm starts, and it's on the far side of the room, on the other side of what you're watching. Oh, by the way, with your find check, you do spot there are, while there's no vehicles here, there are tools and the like, which would be associated with a garage. Go ahead, Kerry.
Cheyenne will grab like a wrench or one of those tire iron things or something lying around.
Okay. Give us a quick find check just to see how quickly you can grab one.
Nine minus something.
That's okay. You managed to grab one. I'm going to add it to your inventory. We are going to call this Improvised Club.
And I'm going to use it to bang on the door we're next to and shout, "Hey, hey!" and try and draw them away.
Divya, while you're looking for those things as well, you spotted something. You've got no idea what it is. It looks mechanical, possibly a bit weighty, and it's about 4 feet long.
Can I try to pick it up? Is it heavy?
You grab a well-balanced Improvised Club. So, okay, that's cool. So that's what you're doing. Shiam, you're going to do a taunt in that case. You're trying to attract their attention. Don't go completely yet, because literally as you go bang, bang, you feel emboldened somehow. That's creepy. Look at your character picture. That's a very well chosen image.
I got a 9.
Well, you now have 3 possibilities that you could possibly spend.
For now, I'm going to just use it to try and get their attention. Can I do that? Not.
You can do, yeah. So you got a 9. You can choose to make them stymied or vulnerable. Which would you like? You didn't get over their taunt defense by 5, basically. So it's just a standard success.
Yeah, stymied.
Okay. So you weren't saying you were doing it on multiple. So I know you're making a noise, but one of them turns towards you, and you can see red sparked light within its dead eyes, and it does seem to turn away from the boy, and it looks to be about to pounce onto you. You did a successful taunt, so have a supporter card, and please do not forget that you can play a card from your hand into your pool at the end of your go. If you look at your gear, you'll notice that Kerry, your improvised club, whatever it is, has this benefit that you will become vulnerable on a miss if you use it. Whereas Divya, your one, Gaz, is slightly better balanced, even though it's not supposed to be a weapon, but it doesn't have that disadvantage. You won't become vulnerable on a miss.
Cool.
So anyone outside, you hear the bang, bang, bang from Shyam on the corrugated metal rolling door. So is anyone in the bus doing anything else? Sujit, Vikas.
I think I'll just keep the engine running until it tells me to do.
Sensible.
Otherwise.
And I won't wait for Vikas because I know that Durek's just gone off to check while the room's cold. He's got to check his heating came on. So the elderly priest is waiting to get out of the bus, maybe. Well, the villains don't get a go this round because they were distracted with the boy still. So we go on to round 2. I shall triumph. Dr. Mobius screams from an entirely different cosm on the front of the card. So it's still a standard scene. So the villains are going first. Approved actions are defend, which may be appropriate as one of the desiccated corpses turns and darts across the room towards Shyam. That's Shyam's character picture. He's just switched it around. See how cunning that was. It's almost identical to the one he actually chose.
Except he shaved his beard.
Yes. I said almost. So one of these creatures darts towards you, Shyam. and goes to basically does a mighty swing with one of its. And you notice the finger bones are poking out at the end of its claws in between the desiccated flesh and what looks like leaves intertwining on its hands as well. Okay. Do they have? Yes, they do. They're unarmed. Yep. So I'll roll that again.
Good luck.
Instantly kills me.
Well, you can, even after I declare the result of this, because you haven't had your action yet this go, you could declare an active defense in an attempt to make yourself harder to hit.
Yes, please.
So that is a 31, which gives them a bonus number of 10 on to hits unarmed combat of 10. So that is a 20. Does a 20 hit you? I think it does, doesn't it? We're looking for you can choose. You've only just picked up the wrench. You can choose your melee defense if that's higher, or your unarmed defense.
9.
9 on both, or is 9 the higher?
I can't find defense. I can see dodge.
If you look slightly further down under dodge, there should be unarmed defense and melee defense. It will be on the. It won't be listed on your skills on the main chart. It's over under defenses. So you got dodge, melee, and unarmed. So your melee is 9.
9.
Yeah, so you're better off with a 9. Okay, so if you're doing an active defense, go ahead. I mean, even if it doesn't entirely miss you, it could still, at the moment, you've got 11 result points on you. So that would be an attack with 2 bonus dice added to it, which is not going to be good for you.
Do I add this to dodge, right?
You would add. You can spend a possibility and keep rolling as well if you wish to, or play cards from your pool on this.
No, I just want to mitigate the damage.
Okay, so that would be a 3 adding to your dodge because it has a minimum on this. Don't forget. So a 16 gives you a bonus number of 3, which gives you a dodge of 12 instead.
Yeah.
So you've 8 results down from 11. So that's still enough for him to get a bonus die, but it's only 1 rather than 2.
Okay.
So the creature's fetid claws sink into your flesh. What is your toughness?
8.
8. So he's just done 15 result points of damage because it does 10 damage plus 5 on the roll. So could have been worse. 8 from 15 leaves 7. So you will be taking 1 wound and 2 shock unless you do anything to reduce it.
What can I do to reduce it?
You could attempt to soak, which means you spend a possibility and roll a reality skill check in an attempt to soak the damage. I will warn you, however, in Orrorsh, soaking is harder in that you reduce the damage by a lesser degree on a standard or a good success.
Yes,
Sorry, I missed that.
I'll take the damage. 1
Okay.
wound.
1 wound and 2 shock. Don't forget that any wounds you've got act as a minus to any rolls you make equal to the number of wounds you've got. But yeah, this thing is just unnatural in your mind, and it reaches out and just grabs your shoulder, and before you can tell what's going on, it's just raked its fingers right down, ripping your suit and just leaving a red stream beginning to soak your right suit arm. But it has let go. It hasn't held on. The other 2 are turning their attention towards your group at the door, but they are not yet doing anything apart from turning. What are you guys doing? Heroes go.
Am I still stymied?
You can act, but you are still stymied, very stymied. It will end at the end of this go.
Might possibly best not to go first then.
Possibly. Yes, it was stymied, but it wasn't enough to take it down. It would have taken it from an 8 to a 6, which is still enough for 1 bonus die of damage. But well reminded. Remind me of these things if I miss them, because there's a lot going on.
Alright, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to have a internal battle between what's more important, my mobile phone or the blender I bought for a wedding gift, and sadly
Which is gift wrapped.
Which is gift wrapped. Sadly, the gift wrap blender loses. There's no way I'm going to be without my mobile phone, working or not. So I'm going to hurl the blender at the zombie that's just bit my friend, and hopefully I'm going to try and do a sort of a trick with it to sort of distract it more than hurt it. You know, can that be done?
You can.
By a trick. Okay. Trick with blender. Right, hold on. Go mind, 10, 13, 14.
14 on a trick. Which one are you doing? The one that's nearest to you, or one of the two that have just turned towards your group?
Oh, didn't one bite one of us?
Yep, the one that's closest to you. That one is.
Yep, that one. Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't a bite. It was a fetid rake.
Okay.
So that was a trick, wasn't it?
It was a trick, yeah, a trick with the blender with a bit of luck.
Okay, and its defense trick is only a 7.
Thought I might have been on a winner here. I think I'm stymied, whatever, if that makes a difference.
Well, you're very stymied, so you've got 4 points of penalties you wouldn't normally have.
Okay.
But it's still difficulty 7.
Okay, well, I got a 14.
What did you get?
14.
14 difficult. Was that after the minuses?
No, sorry, minus was gives me a 10.
Well, it's still enough to get a standard success. Do you want to make him vulnerable or stymied? He's not stymied anymore because he's had his go since Kerry's attempt.
Well, I sense the others here are going to attack him, so yeah, I want to make him vulnerable.
Okay, so essentially he's now 2 points easier to hit.
Okay, and then I'm going to move back off a bit.
Okay, so you're back away, no problem. We're not mapping this bit because we don't need to. But you can play a card into your pool. Don't forget, you don't get one because defend is the approved action at the moment, and no one has successfully defended. Well pointed out, Gaz. Nice to know some people are on the ref's side. And what is Divya doing? What is Divya doing?
I am going to squeal like the young girl I am, and
yeah, you're probably about 15, 16.
And charge at that one with this weapon and probably my.
So you're basically you're holding up the weapon that's probably comically big for a small girl like yourself, and you're going thwack, thwack, thwack with it. Cool. You will be able to spend possibilities on this. In fact, so will I'm not at the computer at the second, but I will be in a minute. You'll both yourself and Skellen will get your Storm Knight variant character sheets at the end of this combat round.
Has anyone else been Storm Knight when I was away?
Only Kerry, so 3 of you at the moment.
I found out why my room was so cold, because the next room to me had the window wide open.
That's never a good thing. That's just wasting energy, that is.
Yeah.
So go ahead and make a melee weapons attack, please, Gaz.
-1. Melee weapon, nothing. Excellent. So
it's based on dex.
9 at the moment.
Okay, well they're let's give you a character sheet now because you might want to spend, because that will miss unless you spend a possibility, which obviously you can't do until you got your moment of crisis, which you just did by choosing to defend somebody else. Now, I'll get to you in a second because you feel a little weird when that happens. And Shilpa, you are also. Please review your character sheets for changes. I think most of you just getting the addition of your perks and the reality skill to a number of ads. Gaz, yours is slightly different because something about you, when you went in screaming, you were embracing your fear more than anything else, shall we say. And a number of things happen. Firstly, your viewpoint of the world changes slightly. And the second thing is your purse changes So let's say at the moment your purse is, you've got it on a shoulder strap. So it's going from your left shoulder down and your purse was sitting on your right hip. There isn't a purse sitting at your right hip anymore.
Cool.
There's a large gun. Anybody stood near to Divya, Cheyenne probably more than Shilpa, because Shilpa stood back. You both do. No, you moved back away. Her clothing appears to have changed slightly as well. She was wearing, I'm assuming you were wearing like sort of normal teenage stuff.
Yep.
You'd save your fancy clothes for the wedding later. It's gone sort of more like Jungle Explorer survival gear. So a worn leather, like wind cheater style jacket, strong, tough looking denims, hard wearing boots, where before she was wearing trainers. But the thing that hits you most is the fact that there is a large, and when I mean large, I mean looks oversized for a man to hold, let alone a girl of Divya's size, gun. It looks very much like a stylized revolver. You can now spend possibilities.
Cool. I've also got a skill in melee weapons now, so it's gone up.
Then
So
add to it.
I got a 10.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
10.
literally mid-arc, you suddenly, it's as if you've gained a whole lot of muscle memory you didn't have before, and you can see what you did wrong, and you adjust your track. It's still only a glancing blow on the side of this thing's head, but it's a successful blow, what was not before. So please tell me what your damage is. You're not doing enough to get a bonus die.
I don't know what the damage is, sorry for this.
It should be on, you've got the gear on your equipment. I added it's basic strength +2, the well-balanced improvised weapon.
Where is it?
Should be on your inventory, under gear.
It just says well balanced.
Improvised club.
Doesn't say how much damage.
If you click on the little Torg gem to the right-hand side.
Okay. Tech varies. Right. Strength +2. Oh, this is going to be powerful.
What is your
My
strength +2?
Is 7, so 9.
9. Okay. It's a glancing blow. You see that your blow actually like sloughs away a surface covering of greenery, revealing sort of bone white skull underneath, but it does not appear to have slowed the creature down in the slightest. Vikas, back in the car.
However, once I've swung this club at it,
Yep.
My face changes and I just drop the club and my hand goes to the gun in like an instinct, as though I suddenly stand up tall for me.
As I say, muscle memory you didn't know you had before.
It's like the wind suddenly whips the cape away from my gun and I'm in that classic.
Yeah, no colonial hat. Vikas.
Yep, that's me.
And Cheyenne, what do you guys do? So you're back in the bus at the moment, Vikas.
Well, I've noticed that the praying doesn't do anything, so I'll have to do something else. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. I don't visually know what I'm looking at.
No, but you've seen Shilpa backing away. She's backed out of the doorway.
Yeah, no, that's not what I meant. I don't know what I'm looking at. Is there just one entrance? Is there a side entrance? Can I see a side entrance?
You can't see a side entrance from your viewpoint. You're probably not familiar enough with this building to know for certain. There's 2 entrances at the front. You've got the entrance to the shop and the blue sort of access door they're currently standing by. There are 2 large additional entrances at the front which are currently closed because they've got the big roll blinds where you'd obviously open up to enable a car to drive in.
So they're not in the garage? I thought they were in the garage part of it. Okay.
Yeah, they are. They're in the behind at the moment. 2 of them you can't really see because they're inside that point. You can see Shield because she's stepped outward.
Okay. Look at my skin. What am I good at? Absolutely nothing. What does Scholar do?
It's basically generally knowing stuff about stuff.
Okay, I want to use my Scholar to see if I work out if there's a side entrance to this damn place.
Okay, you can just walk round there. If you want, you can get off the bus and run enough to be at a place where you can essentially see around the back or the side.
No, I'm not a combat character. I'm a priest, and I know the Hindu religion doesn't incorporate lynch, so that won't be me. Oh, I will be doing using my power of my mind rather than the power of my feet. I'll do that. Ooh, that's nice. 5.
Weird. It came up with a 4 on my screen, but
Yeah, me too.
Weird.
But the number on the screen's an 18. That's good.
5 plus where's my Scholar? 7 plus mind. 15. God, my stats are terrible. Okay.
You you cast your mind back, and you've probably been involved in setting up some kind of buildings or group halls in the past, and you do remember some obscure fire and safety information that a work area does need to have multiple exits. So you're pretty certain that this place would have a back door.
Okay, I point this out to whoever's nearby me.
Okay, Sujit behind the wheel. Because you haven't gone off the bus yet. So
Yeah, I haven't, unless, I mean, 'cause I want to keep the vehicle ready in case we
yep,
need
you're
to.
keeping it running. Yep.
But is there anything else I can do from here? Like,
trying
to figure out what
you can leave it running, and you leave the key in the ignition, and the engine won't stop.
Right. Yeah, I might do that.
You have to copy a card across.
Right. I'll follow because he went out.
I don't think the priest has left the bus yet, have you? Vikas is still on the bus, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm still on the bus. I didn't move.
So, I mean, you think, Sujit, what's your normal move?
It says
10,
0, which has to be wrong.
Yeah, again, look on the
10.
main sheet rather than the front. It should be a 10, I think. Oh, your toughness is 0 as well. That should be an 8, not a 0. Yeah, so your move is a 10. You're pretty certain you could get around the back of that's 30 meters as a run. You could get around the back of the petrol station. Single action.
Okay. I'll run then.
Okay, you run around the back of the petrol station, and lo and behold, you can see there is a door. Looks to be an exterior sort of like fire door type affair. The one thing that you do note once you get around the back of the petrol station, and Vikas, you notice this as well, the bus stops.
What?
The engine just dies.
That is. So if I didn't leave.
Kerry, what are you doing? What's Shyam doing? You've got an opportunity. Oh no, you dodged, didn't you? Next combat round.
Yeah.
We're not through yet, or I'm not through yet. Picture of somebody being crept up on by a knickerbread, I think, in the background there. Okay, approved actions any. Villains go first. You are all inspired. Does everyone remember what inspiration does? I don't think anyone's taken any shock. Oh no, somebody has taken some shock damage.
We regain shock. Some of it. 2.
I believe you get 2 shock back. I don't think there's any other impacts on this particular one. Yeah, you just gain 2 shock if you've got any. So on your go, Shyam, you get 2 shock back. But the villains go first. and the one that it previously was drawing its claws through Shiam's shoulder lunges forward towards Shiam with its jaw just drops down, and these like fetid teeth interspersed with what look like thorns. I didn't think he didn't drive to the back door; he ran to the back door. Direct.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit, actually, one thing you are seeing, Suji, is the no more than about 3 feet away from the back of the building is immediate thick jungle. Well, okay. So the first zombie probably misses. What's your melee defense was 10, wasn't it, Kerry?
I think it was 9.
I can check. Shyam's melee is a 9. Actually, it does hit because it gets a bonus number of 0 for an unarmed combat total of 10. So Shiam, the creature lunges towards you. You're desperately holding it off. Its teeth champing down on air, but it does have an impact on you, and you take 2 shock from the force of its assault. I'm not sure that he's actually on. He's on ZZZ, so I'm not sure he can actually hear me. So he should be on 7. He already took 2, got it back, so he's now back down to 5. Oh, he's using health on the front sheet. That works. So he's on 2. I'll put his shock back up to 7 on that one then. The other 2 are round down towards the 2 of you stood in the doorway. Divya, they're both going to come towards you. They appear in their deathless sight to see some additional threat from you that wasn't there before. So they're going to do a many on 1, which simply gives them a +1 bonus for 1 single attack. So an 11 gives them a bonus number of 0, +1 for unarmed combat. That gives them an 11. Actually, I'll take those points back off of Shyam because that one was stymied. It missed him.
Oh, I remembered. My melee defense is 11.
So you got hit with an 11, so they do hit you.
Oh, damn it.
These ones aren't stymied because they were fresh from the fight.
10.
So they unarmed of 10, and then there was a +1 for the many on 1. So individually, they would have missed you. What's your toughness?
7.
So that's 3 result points of damage. That's only 2 shock, which applies before the hero's round, so it's gotten rid of by your inspiration.
Take that then.
But you go, essentially, you're pushed back under a flurry of pounding, clawed hands, just dragging at your newly acquired duster. And again, the wind is knocked out of you, but you get onto your attempt to do anything, and you get your wind back almost immediately. So what are Shyam and Divya doing?
I'm going to blow one of the heads away.
Okay, so Divya is pulling out this, and again, I think it's like probably slightly larger than a Magnum, this gun.
Very calmly, because I can do it in melee, it says.
Yeah, you haven't got a problem with this.
Because it's a...
Should I go first and try and stymie them? Maybe
You certainly can.
make them fun.
You can get on. You're going to go on all 3 or just the 1?
All 3.
Okay, so you're going to get a +4 to the difficulty numbers for doing a 1 on many. Oh, you're on a 10.
Yes.
That's a 21. What are you using to attempt to stymie them with?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to distract them with a loud noise by banging on the corrugated door with my...
Just letting you know, it won't have a major difference, but it's trick, not taunt. I should have told you that before. Because they're immune to taunt. I'm not going to...
Okay.
But your tricking is probably more like it.
Yeah, I'm a lot worse at that. That's +8 for trick. And 21 was 8, 16.
Okay, that's not bad.
-4.
No, you're not
12.
very stymied anymore, though, are you?
No, but that's because you're doing multiple.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
So 12 versus their trick defense of 7. Do you want to make them very vulnerable or very stymied? Or a mixture?
Or a mixture of both. Very vulnerable, please.
Okay, VV, VV, VV. You are successful. And as a result, you gain a card, which you can put into your hand, and you can play a card from your hand into your pool, should you wish to do so. So they're now very vulnerable. Go ahead, Divya. You draw out your gun, which you didn't know you had until 30 seconds ago.
No. Definitely using a possibility. I'm not fluffing up this first shot.
You are briefly overwhelmed by, this gun's heavy. That's a 15.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
give you a
Don't
bonus
like
number
this
of
2. 50. Fire combat there. So 13, 15.
Their dodge is only 8, so that is enough to do a good success. So whatever else happens, you will be doing an additional die of bonus damage.
18 damage.
And the damage of the gun is a 14, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so the bullet leaves the chamber and instantly crosses about 2 feet between you and the creature, ripping into it for 18 damage. And the one that you shoot, the bullet rips through its shoulder. It's spun around by the force of the impact, and as it spins, it then loses momentum and just collapses to the floor.
Yay.
1 down. Shujit.
That was on the one that was attacking Shilpa, by the way, or whichever
Okay,
was
cool.
attacking Shyam.
Right. So is the door? Is it open? Yeah.
You can try it.
You get a card.
You do get a card, so it's an any this round, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Opponent fails. You try the door. It is indeed open. Please make me a willpower or spirit roll, depending on whether you got the willpower skill.
Right.
Only difficulty number 10s.
8. So that's a.
I think that's more than a 10.
Yeah.
I think you've not got spirit 5. Almost certain of that. Possibly the fact that they're on the other side of the room, facing away from you, but you take in the scene, and you are unfazed about the fact that there are 2 walking corpses on the other side of the room. You can see the boy hanging off of the chains above the first carpet, but you are unfazed, unperturbed, and can move into the conflict with whatever you want to do.
Right. So I'm going to look for some sort of bludgeoning object if I can find it.
Give me a find check quickly.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, with a mishap, I mean, you're looking, you're not going to disconnect, but you can't find anything immediately to hand. I mean, you do see a long, well-balanced, probably some kind of rod off the bottom of the car, but it's on the other side of the room at Divya's feet, where she's obviously discarded it. So you're unarmed until you can make another attempt. What are you actually doing now?
So how large was this boy?
He looks to be about 8 or 9.
Okay, so I might be able to. Okay, I'll sort of look at him and sort of stretch my arms out and say, "Hey, jump! I'll catch you."
Okay, so you move over. Give me a persuasion check to taunt him down, or tempt him, not taunt him. Jump, you wuss! You're going to tempt him down.
Right,
You tempt him down. But before anything actually happens, the act of support, the act of kindness, the putting yourself in danger in order to help somebody else, you are likewise filled with a feeling of energy that you have never felt before. Gaining reality skill at 2 adds the Prodigy perk, at which point your possibilities go up and are 4, 3.
Ooh, nice.
And the Realm Runner perk.
Whoa.
And the quote, "It's not my fault. This vehicle is in peak condition."
Yeah, I have that already.
And just double check any other skills, just in case. I don't think that you got any other ads. I think reality was the only thing missing. But that does mean that you now do have a possibility pool that you can pick from if you wish to increase that, whatever your charisma or persuasion skill -1 is with your current bonus of 9.
Yes, because that is 6. So I'm going to roll.
Oh, good roll, 27.
7.
You think you're trying to overcome the child's fear more than anything else?
Just me. 9. So that's a 15.
You
16.
rush over, hold out your arms, and you say, "Jump! I'll catch you." Your eyes meet the fear immediately goes out of the child's eyes and is replaced with sort of the look of absolute trust that only small children can give, and he just lets go of the chains and collapses into your arms. You've got him, but you're now only standing about 4 feet away from the bad guys as well, and you've got no more movement this round. Has anyone else not gone? Shilpa, you've not gone this round.
Cool. How?
Or did you? Was this the round? No, that was last round. You threw your blender, wasn't it?
I think so.
Does
Yeah.
it count
is
as me
round
doing
3.
an action?
Yeah, it was last.
Do I get
Yeah, that's your action. So yeah, you can still you succeeded. So yeah, you're going to get a destiny card.
Okay, so I stepped out a little bit, stepped back. Am I near the pumps?
You could be. I mean, if you imagine you stepped back, you're probably aligned with the pumps at the moment because you wouldn't have gone all the way back to the bus.
You're going to try to set the place on fire?
Well, it seems like kind of fun. How close are? There's a zombie fairly close to me, is there?
The zombies are inside the garage, so they're about. If you imagine you've got space between you and the door, a big enough space for a car to drive through to be aligned to a pump and still to be safe on the other side. So probably about 10 feet between you and the door, and the zombies within the door probably about 3 or 4 feet away, currently engaged with Cheyenne and or Divya.
Okay. Now, okay, so I'm going to grab one of the petrol pump nozzle thingies.
Give me a find check as you're doing that.
Okay. This is actually an incredibly bad plan. I'm sure that fire isn't a very good method of tackling zombies. You just end up with flaming zombies. Never mind. Find. Uh-oh. I'm doing good with the runs today.
You are indeed.
Let me blow up. Set myself on fire.
So, what are you actually doing?
Well, at the moment I was going to get a petrol thingy nozzle and whatever you call them, and a gun maybe, petrol gun nozzle, I don't know. Anyway, and point it towards the to the door in a covering fashion, so that when they all come running out heroically with the kid, I can squirt the pursuing zombies with petrol, and then we can blow the whole place up and it'll sort everything out.
I'm trying to look at what the mess was.
It's not a good thing to get one on.
Yeah,
It's fun though.
You grab the nozzle.
I'm from Core Earth, that's what I just blow things up.
You grab the nozzle, wrench it out of the pump, and then you take 3 steps in sort of a confident fashion towards the door, and your arm is immediately wrenched up as on the second step you get to the end of what cable or what hose there is on this pump, and you end up going arse up in the air and taking 2 shock as you hit the ground. The pump is still in your hand, but you are currently prone, lying on your arse, about 6 feet away from the pump. And your arm, you've not let go of the nozzle, but your right arm is sort of like up in the air because the hose wasn't long enough for you to get any further.
They're never long enough, are they? They say they can use both sides. I think.
Yeah, this isn't one of those stations. This isn't even a station you can use both sides on.
Definitely.
You're lucky you could use it on this side for this one.
Even the ones that say both sides, never long enough. Anyway, okay.
Quite sagely from his guru, like, that's not something you see every day. Luckily, however, it doesn't appear that you've soaked yourself in petrol. because you didn't actually pull the trigger.
So near, Gaz. Gaz is just trying to get me back from that card last time. Anyway, okay,
So
yeah.
I've worked in garages, so I know exactly what you have to go through to accidentally put petrol on yourself. Although I have to remind myself, this is in the sort of rural districts of India garage, not a BP or anything like that. So
True.
I'll bear that in mind.
Okay, well, that was my
Is that everyone show this go?
Okay.
Yep.
AFK.
You ignoring me or something?
Actually,
Has
do you know there's something else that's gone wrong there? I just realised. On top of that, Galen, he's gone AFK, so I'll say this anyway. He also just disconnected.
Yay!
Because the petrol pump is not Tech 18.
Well,
It's a Tech 20 petrol pump.
Of course it is. Yes, it wouldn't.
So we'll tell him that when he gets back.
He
So
has
he's
literally
just disconnected. Durak, try again. Say something.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, because you're
Your go.
ignoring me whenever I said I haven't got my go yet. Okay, let me see what I'm going to do. God almighty, this character is so bad. Okay, I'll go over and help your guy up from the floor, because I feel so sorry for him. That's it.
Okay, so you go over and help Shilpa up.
Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else I can do. Why did you have to? Why do I have to be a pacifist? Oh my god!
Is he a pacifist?
Yeah, the Hindu, these guys, the Hindu priests, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They you know that friggin' combat things non-violently, that sort of thing.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You were helping, and you've also done some research into the character's faith, which I'm impressed by. So, simply, as we now know that it's unlikely that you're going to be getting physically involved, then the help that you've just done will count as enough. Because honestly, you need to get your miracles into the shizzle for this one.
What?
Well,
Oh, we're miracles,
you've
right?
just ascended because you're following the tenets of your faith so closely. I'm also going to give you a bonus possibility for doing that. So you normally start with 3, but you're getting a bonus one anyway.
Yeah,
You've got the bless, the soothe, and the ward enemy miracles, and you have the perk protected, which gives you +1 toughness versus supernatural evil attacks.
Ooh.
These guys are supernatural evil.
When I find the breast, the soothe, and the ward enemy, have you got them written up already?
I do not. They'll be in the book. I do actually. I don't have them up yet, but I've got a PDF with all of the different miracles in. If that might be easier for you, would it?
I can find it from the book in a while, but I'm just looking through the list here at the minute for the stats to see if anything's changed.
I think you've probably just gained the reality skill, and obviously the 2 perks, miracles and protected.
Miracles
right,
start
Skellen.
on page 196. If you want those.
Oh, did I miss something exciting?
Yes, you did, because you rolled a
Damn it.
1,
Oh.
didn't you?
Yes.
Not only were you on your arse,
Oh.
but can you tell me the tech axiom of a petrol pump?
Not off the top of my head.
It's round about a 20 for this style. It's a modern Earth one.
Ah.
Orrorsh has a tech axiom of 18.
Oh.
So you just disconnected as
Oh.
well as everything else. So you're not just lying on the ground on your arse with your physical dignity, but your metaphysical dignity has also gone for a bit of you're a bit confused, and you don't know what that whole plan you were about to do with that. It's gone out of your mind.
What is it?
Why would I think that this would squirt gasoline on anything? That doesn't make sense.
It's just weird. Yeah. Okay.
It's weird. That's just, and it's like it's pointless because you can't defeat these things anyway. Because currently you're having to think in terms of Orrorsh anyway. So when you get around to your go, you've got to try to reconnect before you can do anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you just DC. So 4th round of combat. We're still in standard scene, and you're just getting villains going every single time. And you're encountering a surge. When we get around to your go, you all know what that means. And if you don't, I'll remind you when it gets to your go, but the villains go first.
We all level up.
No, it's the opposite.
Oh.
The 2 that Divya, you rather selflessly took out the opponent that was attacking Shyam, your older brother's best mate, rather than defending yourself, which means you are still under the continued assail of 2 of these zombies. So they're still getting a +1 bonus that they got from before. That's a 0, so that gives them an unarmed combat total of 10, +1 for the ganging up is an 11, which I believe is enough to hit you, isn't it? Your unarmed combat defense.
Who? Sorry, me.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Unarmed, not armed.
Yep.
10 for unarmed.
So they got 1 over, which isn't enough to do any additional damage, but that is still 4 result points because I believe your toughness is 7, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's another 2 shock as you're just getting assailed by these 2 seemingly mindless undead. Right, heroes go. On a surge, can everybody please make me a contradiction check? So you need to roll a d20 and not get a 1 or a 1 to 4, depending on what equipment you're using.
Go Skellen.
Skellen's already disconnected. The surge will have no effect on him unless he rolls a 1.
This won't have any effect
dear.
on me either.
Go on, Skellen, you can do it. Oh, disappointed.
I rolled 2 1s.
Yeah,
A
no.
lot
If
of
you'd rolled a
ones in those
1,
rolls.
that would have counted as a mishap on your reconnection roll, which gives you the option lose a reality add or transform to the Orrorsh reality. Okay.
Okay. What does
Heroes
lose?
go. Let's go for Shilpa first. So basically, you need to make a reconnection roll. Your difficulties are 12s, I believe, based on the zone you're in. Let me just double check.
So this is my reality skill, is it?
You use your reality skill. It's always, the difficulties are basically 10s with a modifier based on the zone you're in. Oh, that was almost. If you had rolled a 1, that would be a mishap.
You sound really excited about it.
Yeah, well, no, because on a 1, that's the only way you can involuntarily transform.
Yeah, meanie.
And then you can choose to either lose a reality skill add and immediately reconnect, or transform to the Orrorsh reality. So
Just remember, John, though, don't get too excited about getting Skellen transforming and whatnot, because he's going to be GMing us in 2 weeks.
That's right. These
but
mechanics don't exist in D&D. So.
He has his own mechanics.
Yeah.
I'll be relentlessly mean anyway. I think you should go for it now, just preemptively.
Yeah, your reality skill totals you need. The reality skill total you need based on where you are is currently a 14. So I'm assuming that a 2 doesn't do it.
No, a 2 kind of sucks. Can I spend possibilities on this thing?
Can anyone tell Skellen whether he can spend possibilities while he's disconnected? Because that's one of the worst things about being disconnected. You lose the ability to spend possibilities until you reconnect. So no soaking, no spending possibilities on the roll, not even spending cards that let you do possibilities.
Can I move or anything, or am I just...
You can act, but the character has lost the ability to do anything that can be considered contradictory to the local reality. So you're having to think Victorian, Orrorsh, those sort of mindsets. So no tools that are higher than Tech 18. Luckily, most of the bludgeoning tools are going to be reasonable. No high tech, those sorts of things. So what do you want to do? You can still go ahead and do stuff.
Well, I'll... is there a... you usually get like a bucket or something, don't you, next to the petrol pumps? I'm trying to think what you get.
There is, in fact, a red bucket labelled sand.
Right, okay.
It is within clear sight. It's actually hanging on the wall next to the shop entrance.
Okay, grab the bucket and swing it at a zombie's head.
Okay, I'm going to let you do that because it sounds like fun. It's essentially going to be as if it's an improvised club. So it's going to do strength +2 damage if you hit. But if you miss, you'll be unbalanced and you'll be vulnerable. Okay.
The Victorians definitely have buckets, so that.
Oh yeah. No, this is fine. This is an old school.
Cool.
Yeah, fire bucket. That's.
How would they not have it? Buckets. Well, I guess if it was metal, they wouldn't have it.
Well, no, metal buckets are fine. Don't forget, these guys have ironclad ships and that sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm just saying, like maybe not in the living land.
Living land, almost certainly a fire bucket. The whole concept of health and safety is outside the social axiom of the living land. Just even thinking, is there a fire bucket, is a potential contradiction in the living land. So you'd have to roll them. So go ahead and roll a melee weapons attack as you spin
a plastic bucket, I suppose.
with an attempt. No, it's not. It's a metal
well
bucket. They can't use plastic buckets on a petrol forecourt because the fumes will slowly erode the plastic.
Now, I do have skill in melee weapons.
Doesn't matter. You'd always re-roll on a 10 anyway. It's a 20, unless I'm getting that wrong. One of them you don't re-roll on. Maybe it is the 10.
I'm knocking his block off this bucket.
That's a bonus number of 9.
9. Oh. Okay.
So you're not going to become vulnerable on the miss, certainly.
Plus 9 gives me an 18.
18 definitely hits. Their unarmed combat defense is a 10, so not quite enough to get 2 bonus dice of damage, unless you've got a card that can give you 2 points bonus.
Oh, wait.
Remember, you can't spend any possibilities, though.
Hang on.
Or does anyone else involved in the combat have a supporter card? Give her a plus.
I think I've got it. Hold on. Like adrenaline might do.
Was that Kerry? You've got a card to add as well?
I've got a supporter.
So there you go. You're getting into a combat. If you've got nothing yourself, Skellen, you've got at least 2 people who can use supporter cards on your behalf.
Well, if you save them something dead important, I guess, I don't know, I'll play my adrenaline card. It gives me +3 to a dex, strength or related skill total. Does that work?
That's fine. So that's giving you 3. So that is more than enough to get you onto the 2 bonus. And I think that's about right. You pick yourself up and go, ugh, indignant, like female. You probably you're Victorian. You probably picked some kind of suffragette gene up when you picked. I could do this, and you just rushed over, grabbed this thing, and you the rest of you see Shilpa just step through the door, already swinging. And the bucket goes through one massive 360 arc, and she brings it down across the skull of one of these things. So you definitely hit. You're doing strength +2, normal. So what's your strength?
7.
So that's 9, and you're rolling 2 bonus dice for damage because of your degree of success. You're re-rolling that 6, so you're currently on a 7. So you're on a 12. 12 add 9 is a 21. Their toughness is only an 8. You swing. You barely feel anything, Shilpa, as you go through. The rest of you see the bucket impact this thing on the side of the head. It disconnects the head from the neck, and the head goes flying off. And Shilpa, you spin around 3 more times before coming to a stop, like about 5-6 feet into the garage. And you look and you just see, well, okay, I must have hit that one, but you didn't even feel the impact. Well done. Indeed. Who's next? There's only one of these zombies left.
Right, I want to try to whack one.
Remember, you do have your arms full of 9-year-old.
Yeah, I'll sort of.
You can shift him to be over on one shoulder if you want. And
yeah, well, couldn't I just put him down, tell him to stay behind me, and sort of.
The issue you've got is holding on to you.
All right.
He's like got a grip. He's got one of those like child grips around your neck. You could move him onto one arm to give you one of your arms free if you wanted to.
Right, but would I be able to pick up the?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Well, I'll do that then. Try to pick up the whatever the tool was.
Yeah, you pick up the tool
and smash one of the zombies around the head.
Well, there's only one of them left, so you swing it around and bring it down on the creature. Melee weapons attack.
Oh, that's just a 9.
So -1.
What is my?
I'll tell you need a 10 to hit this thing. In fact, you need less than that because it is currently very vulnerable. They haven't had a go since then, so you need a 6 to hit this thing.
Well, I get a 12, so.
Well, it hits with 1 bonus die of damage.
Oh.
So that's strength +2, and then add 4 to it.
14.
14, again, that's enough to do a wound, and that's all you need to take down. I will give them their correct name, a Gospog of the first planting. That will make more sense later. But you bring this thing down, crack, and you hit it 3 times in quick succession. The first strike breaks the skull. The second strike going down at the same point drives an inch into whatever soft tissue is left underneath. And the third strike, you actually bring it down with such force. Not only does it drive further into the creature's skull, but it drives it down to its knees, and you release whatever the tool you've got, and it collapses with a clatter to the ground. Yeah, probably some kind of exhaust pipe. Probably a little thinner. I was thinking more of like the sort of the metal beading that you'd add to the side of a car. So it probably has a bit of a sharp edge as well, but enough to be about 4 feet of zombie death. Everything goes quiet. There's no further sounds of combat. Just the silence is briefly broken by the quiet sobbing of the young boy in Sujit's arms. Skellen, make a reconnection roll, please. Remember, your difficulties are 14s.
Oh, I've got this. No worries. 12.
That's a bonus number of a 1.
A 1. No, 12 supposed to be a 0, isn't it?
Oh no, yeah, 12 is a 0. Sorry, yep.
My reality skill is +2 onto my spirit, which is 8. What was the target?
10. Your difficulties are 14s.
Yeah.
You're still confused. You won't get to make a reconnection roll every combat round. Outside of combat, it's going to be a little slower.
I need a 17 plus.
You're feeling okay in yourself at the moment. Just certain things aren't really coming to mind, like the concept of a mobile phone. Whatever it was that you threw at that thing, the blender, and your camera isn't really making much sense to you at the moment. And yeah, it's all a bit confusing right now. Sujit, the little boy, turns to look at the creatures that are now dead on the ground, but he brings his eyes towards it and then immediately turns his face back and buries his face into your neck.
I sort of gently pat him on the back and say, "Yeah, it's going to be okay."
Okay, give us a persuasion.
Oh, how to convince him that's going to be okay? I don't actually.
Difficulty is 10s.
Well,
I think you don't. I think it's 20. You don't re-roll on. No, let's double check. I need to remember. Getting old, can't remember game rules. Can anyone else remember for absolute certain whether you?
I think it was 10s you re-roll, 20s you have to be skilled in it.
Yeah, I think so too, but I don't.
I think you might be right.
know.
I'm on attribute and skill tests. Skill.
Well, it's still a.
20 is probably enough anyway.
So yeah, it's a 14.
14. That's enough. You only needed to get a standard success. He you feel the racking sobs that have been going through his body stop as you pat him on the back, and he sniffs, and you feel him like straighten up, and his arms relax from around your neck, and you take that as a sign that he's okay to be put on the floor.
Right, put him down. Hey, I'm Sujit. What's your name?
Jayash.
And so, Jayash, could you tell us what happened here?
They chased me here.
From where? What?
My house. It's not far from here. They broke in last night. And then there's something passes over his eyes as he's obviously remembering something that is unpleasant. Mama and Papa made it so I could get out.
Was it just the 3 of them?
Well, now, there was another man with them, with the monsters, last night.
This other man, what was he like?
He spoke English.
Like these?
No, he spoke English. He called them Gospog. He ordered them I hid in here, but they heard me. But before they heard me, because I cried out, I couldn't stop. They dragged Mama and Papa, and he just points north up the road. And then he heard me, and he said, "Get the child. We'll go and continue the night's work." You get the feeling that last statement is something he'll never forget. He was not covered in vines like them, but he was deformed, I could tell. He had a limp, and his back was bent. And his mask, it's like he had a sack pulled over his head. Can I come with you?
Yes, of course. Of course, we've headed to whatever the village was for a wedding. You can come along. You'll be safe in the car.
You're heading for Chokmali?
Yes.
Okay. And he sniffs and pulls himself up to his full 4.5 feet. Makes a show of pulling down his t-shirt, wiping away the tears and the grease from the top of it. And he goes over and grabs a wrench. He's looking over at Shyam and seeing him armed with a wrench. He goes over and grabs a smaller wrench off the side. I'm ready. Let's go.
Right.
Can I either pick up that weapon I got before or see if there's anything better than that?
Give us another find check.
So I've got that. What was it?
A well-balanced
improvised club. Yep.
Well, actually, that's currently embedded in the head of one of the Gospogs, but you could retrieve it.
Right, I'm going to retrieve it.
Oh, I better get my blender back. Oh no, I thought a blender. Ah, no, my head's going to explode.
Yeah, no, it's a wedding gift. You can't remember what it is. Wedding gift, that's a concept you can deal with.
Yeah, okay, it's a wedding gift.
Although, why you, as an unaccompanied female, is on one of these men must be your chaperone. Oh, the priest. You're probably with the priest. He helped you up. Priests are trustworthy. No, you don't find anything else of any use in here, guys. You're looking around, but nothing as good as that which Sujit has now dragged out of the head of the thing. So, with no further ado, you return to the bus, which is currently not running.
What the? I left her. I left the engine.
You left her in gear. It's still in gear. The ignition is still on.
What was the quote? It's not my fault. This vehicle is in peak condition. I sort of open up the bone, but try to examine it, look at the engine, see if anything's.
You can see absolutely nothing wrong with the engine whatsoever. You get behind the wheel, check the brakes, check the clutch a couple of times, take the key out of the ignition. Make me a reality check, please.
Would I understand that it's not going to work?
Oh, that's bad.
Would in my head be like that ain't going to work anymore?
You know it. Well, it doesn't look like any. Yeah. The whole concept of an internal combustion engine is evading you at the moment. It's sort of cutting edge tech you probably aren't aware of.
Got science too.
Yeah, it's cutting edge tech you probably aren't aware of.
Okay.
The
whole internal combustion engine in cars don't really come in until the tail end of that era by a significant degree.
You'll sort of wonder, well, where does the coal go?
Yeah, you're thinking, well, okay, it's a bit unwieldy because, I mean, you could probably be pulled by about 4 horses, but Yeah, and even if you did understand, you're probably thinking of the fact, why isn't, let's say this, you'd be expecting him to go to the front of the car and crank it. Because the whole key ignition doesn't kick in until about the 20s, I believe. What was your total, Sujit?
Right. Let's just see what is my. That's 10. So yeah, I'm going to spend possibility on that.
Can you spend possibilities on corruption tests?
I believe you can.
Ooh. 3. That's 10.
You sit down, you have a brief, key does nothing, briefly, and then you just have one of those, you should be working, and you sort of like bash the wheel a couple of times, and then try the key again, she starts first time.
Oh, that's what I said. This is in mint condition. Right, everyone on board.
You're still, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact you've got clear memories, Divya, of being on this bus 20 minutes ago, you'd be, yeah, it's your brain's having a significant, I mean, and Shilpa, you just, even though you remember you were on this bus, okay, you're being told to get on board by a man, you're following that authority structure. He appears to be quite authoritative. It's his vehicle, apparently, but you've got no idea how this thing's going to move.
Has anyone got a lot of shock damage on them?
Shyam's got a couple of shock. Divya's got a few
2,
as well.
I think.
I mean, a few minutes in the bus and that will go anyway.
Wait, did
well,
Shilpa transform as well?
What was that, Badger?
Did Shilpa also transform? Or it was just...
She's disconnected.
Oh, right. Okay.
On the one.
Oh.
So it's not worth me then healing them then. Okay.
Well, yeah, and if you're doing it, if it's something you're doing without any renewable resource, or if it's a renewable resource, go ahead. Especially if it's something that your character would do. If it's a finite resource, like a Cosm card or something, I wouldn't necessarily waste it outside of
No, the spells. I don't know how to spot the spells run off, so I don't think they run off anything, do they?
No, you can use them as long. The only issue you've got is if you get a mishap, you'll take shock as a result of backlash from failing to enact the miracle. But by all means, you are feeling more spiritually.
Who's playing Shyam then?
Shyam is Kerry's character.
Oh. Kerry's character's injured. Who's the other guy injured?
A couple of shock, and Divya, the young girl. She's
I've
also
got 2 shock.
looking a bit scratched up.
Okay, so which one of you wants to get healed first? I want to do this healing roll.
I think Shyam's got wound, doesn't he?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, Shyam's wounded.
So probably best to do Shyam.
But I don't heal wounds. I only heal shock.
Do you not get a wound on a high level on Bless or not?
Nope. I get 4 normals, 2 shock. Good is 3 shock.
Yeah, no, heal is
shock.
a different one.
Healing is a different one. Yeah, you haven't got the Axiom level 10.
I've got soothe.
Well, go ahead. Soothe still worthwhile. It's worth giving a shot, and it's still gonna. By the way, that's area of effect.
What is it?
Soothe is all allies within range, and has a range of 5 meters. So literally, as everyone gets on the bus, Vikas says some kind of prayer to Ganesh or one of the other myriad of deities.
Not bad. It's only what?
Only 10s.
Yeah, so 13's 1, and my spell is. I wish I had more. It's 14. 14's 4, so that's a good success, isn't it? 4 higher
You
than
need
it?
5 over. So you
5
need
over?
a 10 or a 15 to get a good. So I think you're 1 point off good, aren't you? But
everyone's just 2 shock, isn't it? There's no one.
So there's a palpable. There's a palpable feeling of sort of just healing energy comes off the old priest, the old. Forgotten what you called her. Puji, is it, or something like that? I can't remember the old. Puraji. And everybody on the bus, if you've got any shock, you can recover 2 shock. And that was, yeah, okay, yeah. Anybody from Cora, that was not usual. The only reason it might freak out Divya is, yeah, just, I mean, you haven't encountered much of the Orrorsh reality yet, but just to let you know, it's a lot more, as I said, fire and brimstone than pleasant and healthy.
I really, really want to damn myself. I really want to damn myself so badly. It's terrible.
Jayash takes the seat, whoever was sitting in it before, whoever was sitting in the seat immediately behind Sujit, finds Jayesh sitting there with the obvious stubbornness of a young boy that will not be moved. And the bus starts, and with the light rain continuing, you continue up the path. The time that you used there results in one more. The sun is now dipping towards the far horizon when you can see it through the deep jungle. You're getting quite close to Chokmali when, Sujit, you notice the first problem that you think could really stop you from getting to your destination. The part of the road that you're approaching up ahead dips towards the left a bit, and it begins to slope down towards the village itself. However, it's a gentle slope. It's not massive, but the issue with it is, there is a river that runs past Chokmali, and at this point on the road, it runs quite close to the road itself. And as you turn the corner, you get your first sight of the river through the jungle. The river does look to be quite swollen and angry. Obviously, the storm is probably much heavier ahead, or was heavier, and you're now seeing the stormwater runoff has swollen the river significantly. About 50 meters ahead of you on the road, you can see where part of the side of the road has already been washed away by the torrent, and the road is barely wide enough for the bus, and you're not entirely sure what state the road is going to be in when the bus crosses it.
Can I make I don't know, land vehicles check?
You can do. Get yourself an idea of what's going on. Oh, that rolled off a 10.
So 17. Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that you would be able to get across. You're certain of your own skill. You're certain of the bus's mechanical surety and technical excellence. You are certain of that. While you're confident, it's the road state that you're not as confident on. What you do know is, to maximize your chances, you would need to minimize the weight in the bus.
Okay.
And that could be down to a single person might make the difference.
Okay.
You're looking, it's a significant section of road. Telling you out of character, you're going to have a dramatic skill resolution here. And you've got 5 rounds to complete the 4 steps to get the bus across safely. Has everybody gotten their cards out of their pool back into their hands?
No,
Yep.
I didn't know to do that.
Please do that. We do it at the end of every combat, just get used to it. Because with the dramatic skill resolution, you're going to start building a pool again.
Didn't do it last week, did we? We kept it
Yeah,
going
I
forever.
forget.
No.
I forget.
When do I get a chance to reconnect again?
You can try now. In fact, you've probably had 2 chances on the way here. So you've got 2 attempts. Oh, so close. Remember, outside of combat, somebody else could play a card in your favour, or you could play a card.
So I could play a supporter card on him.
You could play a supporter card. It would make more sense for some... But no, I suppose you could convince her that...
I'm looking pretty delusional at the moment. A supporter card would be very good.
Would you like me to play a card on you,
You
Skellen?
needed a 17, didn't you, to get the minimum of the 4 that you need.
I do.
I
So
could
with
play
the 16, he's 1 point away from being able to successfully reconnect.
I was trying to do the evil voice, and John kept on speaking over me.
Go and do your evil voice.
Oh, it's too late now. Can't do it. Forgot it. I was going to say, Skellen, do you want me to play my card on you? My lovely
Yes,
card.
please. Yes, please. I love you.
Do you really want me to play my card on you? You saying
It's
this
a
for
nice
definite?
card.
It's
Can
a
I have
lovely
some more
card.
information now. Not saying I don't trust you or anything. Yes, sir.
I don't think if it's the card he's talking about, I'm not sure it's going to help you reconnect.
Yeah, okay, we'll give that a miss then. Thanks anyway.
Wait, no, never mind.
You really need to read the chat, Skellen.
Yeah, anyone wish me to damn myself and steal all your possibilities, evil glowing eyes?
Oh, I see. Yes, yes. Oh well. No, I'll give you a miss then.
I have a supporter.
Yeah, lots of people have got supporters. If one of you spends a supporter card on Shilpa, she comes to her senses. So decide amongst yourselves. It'll probably make more sense for Shyam to spend it, because if you think in character, the supporter's coming from somebody who's from Core Earth, as opposed to somebody that's already permanently succumbed to the lure of Orrorsh. She wants to get away from the lure of Orrorsh. So was that one from Shyam, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So you reconnect, and the normal world and the ideas of the normal world come flooding back to you, Skellen. You're absolutely aware of the wrongness of the place that you're in again, and that sort of oppressing sense of fear that's at the back of all of your brains currently. But you're able to reconnect, to Core Earth reality. So to get the bus across, are you advising everybody to get out, Sujit?
Yes.
Now, you're pretty certain that the road isn't going to get washed away when people walk over it. So it probably makes sense for everybody to go ahead of the bus and to wait on the far side, or to do whatever you can to help. So during the dramatic skill resolution, you will be able to, if you've got land vehicles, for example, you could assist with land vehicles representing that you're guiding a left a bit, come forward, left a bit, that sort of thing. But yes, so you're going to have 5 rounds of dramatic skill resolution to try and get the bus across.
5 successes?
Well, 5 rounds to do A,
okay.
B, C, and D in the dramatic skill resolution.
Ah.
And the first round, let them have it.
Hey,
So you've got A, B, and C.
Right.
Let's attack the bus. Then someone intimidate it.
That won't help. The bus is immune to attacks and intimidation. However, if you do want to get cards, any attempt at a dramatic skill resolution automatically counts as a favoured skill as far as the combat line is concerned. So an attempt at land vehicles, whether you're in the car or outside of the car assisting, will result in you being able to get a new card.
What is land vehicles?
It's a skill off of Dex.
Oh, Dex, because I don't have land vehicles. I was wondering. No, forget that. If you want me to do it, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. I'll try it anyway.
Right, I got an 18.
Okay, so everyone else is working with what they're doing. You get ready, you back up a little bit, line the bus up, and then in the lowest gear you can manage to prevent anything from going overboard. You slowly move forwards. Everything appears to be going fine. It looks like Vikas is doing something to assist you with his lack of land vehicle skill.
Could he maybe do the bless thing and improve my?
I don't think he's
Wait
that one.
Oh, it does. But it does everyone in 5 meters of me.
Yeah, no, but it's not giving him extra shock. It will calm him down, but it won't.
No, bless is the one that raises your attribute.
Right. Yeah, you could do that, definitely.
But I didn't think of doing it, so I didn't.
Well, you'll have to do that next round. So, first round. Is anyone else doing anything to assist? Even if you're not, you can move a card from your hand into your pool to start building a pool that might be able to help in the subsequent rounds of the dramatic skill resolution. As the bus begins to edge out onto the obviously less firm roadway.
Right. Do I get a card?
Ooh,
you do. You get attuned, which I believe means is that the one that gives you another Cosm card?
Yep.
Okay, the Cosm card you get is Ominous Portent.
Ooh. Did I get a card?
You do, because you were doing basically your assist is going to give. At the moment, you'll be giving Sujit a +1 next round. You get his initiative.
Give him so much more next issue. Next go.
Is anyone else doing anything in the first round, or are you just stepping back and watching?
I'll just step back for now.
Okay.
I'm keeping an eye on the horizon.
Shilpa's probably recovering. Shyam, you're just letting him get on with it, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. Remember, everyone can move a card, so you should have one card in your pool at the end of this round, whether you did anything or not.
Yes.
Second round. Curses.
Well, I can still do B.
You can do B.
I wish to do my go now.
Oh, yeah.
Play my card. There we go. Taking a possibility for that.
Okay, so Inspire gets played. Does everyone remember what Inspire does?
Take a possibility.
You have a series of choices. Yep. Take a possibility or a card.
Or
Take a possibility, pick a card, or recover free shock. You've no shock at the minute, so.
Doesn't somebody have a master plan card as well?
Not sure they do. I'm not sure if they've got it in their pool.
Oh.
You're essentially in combat during dramatic skill resolution.
Come on, people. Let's work together.
That's one half of what I can do, isn't it? I can do my move here as well.
Yeah,
so
I'm
going to cast the bless. I'm going to cast the bless spell because I think someone asked me for it earlier.
Praying to one
Ganesh.
Gods. Ganesh.
And
gotta love Ganesh. He's so cool.
Yeah, I'm praying to make Ganesh. My compatriots more dexterous.
Okay.
17,
big, hefty elephant god making you more dexterous.
Yeah.
Shush. Make fun of my god. Let's see, it's DN10.
That's right, you got a 4 on the 17.
Yeah, I know. God, stop. I have to flick between pages. 17's plus 4, and that makes me 7. Oh, that's 17. Wow.
So that's a good success.
I'm going to use a possibility to gut loads them.
Well, it's going to be at least a 27, so you're going to go up to a outstanding success regardless.
97. Okay, so everyone gets +2 to their dex for
a minute.
1 minute. I don't know how long a minute is, but it seems a long time.
10 combat rounds. No, 6 combat rounds. They're 10-second combat rounds, I believe. It's either 6 or 10, but we'll go with 6.
Whoa.
Well, I'm going to write 6 here.
Okay. Keep track. Not a problem. Is anyone else doing anything? Obviously not before Sujit rolls his dice, but that should be okay. Now, the moment, Sujit, just to make you aware, the center part of the road is the bit that's trickier. So your difficulty numbers for steps B and C are 12s, not 10s.
Okay, well, that's 2.
Can I do anything to try and shore up the road?
What are you going to try and do? I mean, it'd take quite a lot to shore it up, but you can certainly make an attempt.
By finding large, like branches or
give us a fine check.
I don't know what there is, rocks, and just getting them into place. If there's anything that looks like it's a bit loose, just
give us a fine check. You're looking to essentially what was what card were? Oh, to get that? No, because it's not an approved action, and it wasn't land vehicles. So.
That's what I was asking.
Yep.
-2. What are we? Find, mind, 8, 6. Go on in. I will do a possibility because I want to try and help.
Okay, go for it. It's a 10, so it's a 17. It's a bonus number of 4.
12.
12. Basically, you're not able to do anything to help this round. You spend this round looking for stuff. But we'll double check if Sujit manages to move it onwards. I think he did. Did you include the +1 that you're getting from the assist from Vikas in the first round, Sujit?
No, I didn't.
So it's a 14, not a 13.
Yeah.
So yeah, you edge forward cautiously, and basically, Divya, you proceed to just start to grab bits of underbrush and whatever, and you're throwing it down in front of the tires, essentially. So your next round, your bonus from Vikas expires, but it's replaced by a +1 bonus from Divya.
Yay!
And yeah, did you remember the +2 to your dex on that 13 as well?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you are 2 steps in after 2 rounds. You're 2 for 2.
Whoa.
Third round. I have you now.
Complication.
Now. Does everyone remember what a complication means on the dramatic skill line?
No.
Right, it means you can attempt any step using the appropriate. But should you fail on a complication, badness happens. Specific badness that happens is, I've got to find the right bit now. Where's he gone? Flurry, setback, confused, no cosm.
Give us a sec.
Have we lost Kyrie?
I think we did. He was reconnecting. I think he's back again.
Okay. I wish to change that card. I'm playing my Seize Initiative.
Okay. Do you want me to pull out another one or go back to the previous
a different
one?
card?
Because the
The other
last
one had a
one
C on it,
didn't
didn't it?
have a C on it.
Did it not? Or was it ABD?
It was ABD.
Okay.
I'm changing this card to a different
Okay.
one.
Not a problem. That's what Seize Initiative is there for. Well used. You take it to them. ABCD.
Yay.
Yay.
So, third round, you can still do your C attempt.
We can maneuver.
Oh.
It's a bit low.
I'm going to spend... Yeah, I use my drama card on that one.
Make sure it's in your pool, yeah?
Yeah.
But just so you know, complication is if you fail, not only do you fail, but then that imposes a -1 penalty to all further attempts on that task. So that's a 12, giving you a bonus number of 0.
0.
So you're getting a +2 to your dex from the Bless still, and you're getting a +1 thanks to the slightly improved road surface provided by Divya's nature
So
romp.
that puts me at 16.
You throw some more possibilities in there. You've got loads of them now, don't you?
Yeah, well, I would have spent 2 though.
Okay, you're edging further. You can feel the ground under the tyres is getting firmer, but at the same time, the back tyres appear to be spinning a little bit more as we go on to the 4th. Unless anyone else is doing anything this round to assist.
What did you get, sorry? What was his score?
He managed this round. Whatever you're
Okay.
doing, if you do anything this round, you'll be assisting him for the 4th round.
I was thinking about maneuvering as in, I don't know. Is maneuver like putting stuff under the wheels and stuff like that?
That's what I'm
Or is it
doing.
different?
Not really. That would just be a fine check to get the appropriate stuff.
Keep on forgetting what maneuver is in this game.
It's the ability to get a tactical advantage in combat through dint of position.
Ah,
Can I
about-
carry on trying to put twigs
what-
down then?
You
What about,
can make another fine check to find appropriate stuff.
what about putting myself in a position on the bus to push better?
You want to get behind the bus and push.
Yeah, better maneuvers, because that's positioning myself in a position to give a better attack.
Yeah, you could do that, but it'd be a strength test.
That's fine. I'll do it
Stop
anyway.
being so obvious at trying to just get cards.
Shush! This is the way this game works.
Roll
During
I know
dramatic
this.
skill
Hey,
resolution, you
not-
tend to get cards by attempting the
Ooh,
dramatic skill
I
resolution skill.
swear, I thought that was a 1 there, and it was a 7.
Well, strength isn't a problem, but you would be interacting with a vehicle that's over the axiom of the cosm, so you would probably still disconnect. But you're pushing it, so maybe not. That's a -2.
Oh, I might as well possibility. But if I run out of possibilities, there's always plenty around me. Ooh, that's actually
We've already
better.
spent them.
26. That's a 9.
So 9 plus my strength is a maneuver. Oh, definitely.
No, it'd be strength. Wouldn't be maneuver.
Yeah, but I don't have maneuver. That's what I'm saying. I don't have to add maneuver to it.
That's right. It'll just be strength.
Yeah, so it's 16.
Okay, and Div, you got a 13. That's both enough. Essentially, for the last round, Badger, you're getting a +2 from your compatriots. One appears to be pushing from behind, and the other one is putting more stuff to assist the ground surface in front of you.
I'm sure that strength thing says
Should
maneuver
I
in
be
your
getting
card.
some cards, maybe?
Sorry?
Should I be getting some cards? Maybe.
Oh, for doing the
doing
attempts, yes, you should. Yeah, you should be getting them. So have a romance card.
Ooh.
Yep. Good place to
And
go for romance cards.
The fourth round. You've only got a complete D. Remember, even if D doesn't come up, you can attempt to play for the critical moment and do all the remaining ones, but you'll be at -2s.
That means either.
So the fourth round is breakthrough, and you can still do a D. You are lucky. So go ahead and make your land vehicles check. Difficulties are 10s again, but you're getting +2 from your companions as well.
And +2 to your dex.
So that. Yeah.
I think you've got it already.
Yeah.
I think you manage.
It's a
You,
+9 in total.
Creep on to the safe section of road, and then rev the engine a little bit, and the bus moves forwards about 4 or 5 meters before you bring it to a halt. Pull the lever to open the door and gesture for everyone else to come back on. Yeah, the road behind you is not looking particularly good, but you managed to weather that one quite well. But it has taken you some time to do so. Yeah, probably a little bit more Ganesha at the back, pushing it.
It's starting to get dark, people.
The sun is dipping much further.
Full speed.
As you bring the bus down the last few kilometers of road.
Don't know how I remember these rounds because the less.
And you bring the bus through the southern road into the small village of Chokmali. No one comes to meet you as you arrive in Chokmali. The small town is silent and empty, which is not comforting to Divya or anyone else who knows Rajan and the family. The houses are arrayed as they're shown, but you can see that previously, where it was on the edges of the jungle, there is now thick vegetation which is thickened and encroaching to engulf some of the outlying building.
What I thought you had done, I thought you had typed in to Madura at the bottom of that map, and I was going, God, he actually typed in the name I said to him, but then I saw the extra letter.
Yeah, your bless is gone by this point.
Yep. Okay, shall we go in and have a look around? Does anyone know?
I'm going to honk just to signify that we're here.
I must have been from this village if I'm so much friends with the groom.
You've probably been here on more than one occasion, certainly. I mean, certainly Divya, if no one else, knows which house is her house, Rajan's house. It's her house as well, family home.
Oh, let's go to the house. Come on, get this party in gear. I have to get a wedding to organize.
Do I still remember things like that? So
Yeah, you still remember your life.
okay, so I still know my old past life and know all.
Yeah, the largest house in the village belongs to Rajan's family, your family home, Divya. It's 2 stories tall, steadily built, and brightly painted. And you can see still decorated for the upcoming wedding.
I'm not Rajan's sister.
I thought Divya was. You're
No, I'm a
Divya.
friend of.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, well,
Rajan's
you've
sister.
been there. You've been there.
Yes,
There
I
you
know
go.
the house, but
Yeah.
it's not me.
Yeah. However, anybody that's been to the town before, as I say, the jungle appears to be much more grown than it was. Do you see the little yellow and white thing to the right of the well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm assuming you're bringing the bus in. Where are you parking the bus?
Well,
Next to the house, next to the well?
yeah. I'm guessing wherever there's an open space that seems fit. But
Huge picture. Hang on, I've just got to resize this picture before I share it. Hopefully it will resize and show properly on your screens.
You're going to park it beside Rajan's house, it looks like.
yeah.
Okay. As you pass, the thing to the right, which is most definitely not something any of you recognize as being part of this village before, is that.
It's not one of them funny things you mentioned before.
Near the edge of the village's square clearing, impossible to miss, is a grisly structure, which from a distance looks like a figure made of bound together sticks. A little closer up, it becomes clear that it's actually made of bones, distinctly human bones, which appear to be fused together in some kind of altar.
My thing won't load.
It's just loading. It's just a big image, so it'll take
Yeah,
a
it's
while.
quite a high resolution image.
Forgot to
Give it a
de-res
second.
Ooh.
Oh. Looks like a man with his hands in the air, but it's not.
Candles, isn't it? It's got.
Yeah.
It does look like you say though, head of a holding 2 candles up.
The candles are lit and do appear to be maintaining their burning state despite the light drizzle.
Hmm.
Do I feel anything off this? Spiritually.
You may do. Give me a second.
Okay. I'm not sure how faith works in this place.
Make a reality skill check, assuming you're going close to the thing to check.
$15? Hello? 15?
You get within about 5 or 6 feet of the thing. You can feel there's some unnatural energy coming off of this thing, and it's putting your teeth on edge. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Thought my Discord had went there. I was going to restart it.
I'd kick it over. Destroy it.
Sometimes I think you can't hear me when I'm talking, and then I can't tell. That's why I think my Discord's acting a bit funny.
It's not we can't hear you, we just choose not to listen to you.
John was going robot voice for a bit there, so I was wondering. Is he going robot voice to any use? Because if he wasn't, then I'm going to restart Discord.
Not quite.
Okay, I'll restart Discord.
It was probably just because you're downloading the picture at the same time. Oh, he's gone.
What is that thing?
I'm going to smash it up in a minute.
My character's got fire combat 2, which would seem to mean that we're likely to get more guns at some point. Unless I'm
If there are already guns, I don't know if there would be in this area, but maybe there would. Could be worth having a look.
Yeah.
I know a person with a gun here with us.
I imagine because it's such a specialised gun that you probably can't use it.
Why? It's just a... I don't know.
Did anyone else change their
Back
gear when they changed over?
No, no one else changed over. The rest of you are all still core Earth to the core.
I didn't check where I was. I'm gonna open that.
Core Earth. So yeah, you are getting. There is definitely an unnatural feeling. I mean, you got close up. You can see the bones that comprise this thing still have blood on them, and that energy is sort of crackling, and you can certainly feel it.
Can I go over and kick it over? Smash
You're gonna do what to it?
Kick it over and smash it.
It's quite big, but you can give it a chance.
Okay. As in, is it bigger than me?
The central bit is as tall as a man. So if you look at the scale of the heads, that will give you.
Head is about the height of my head.
Yeah.
Okay. It's quite wide as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can see the skulls on there are human-sized skulls. Give me a find check as you approach.
I'll ask Sujit to drive over it.
Give me a find check as you get close.
What was the picture called again? Because it's closed for me.
Stellai Orrorsh.
Yes.
12.
Okay. You can't get away from when you're close to this thing. You're getting a feeling of being watched. And out the corner of your eye, you turn and you can't see anything, but from within the depth of the jungle, you're certain out the corner of your eye you just spotted red eyes.
Oh, okay. It's time. I wish to cast a spell.
Let's get in somewhere. If it's going to be some protective spell, will it have a certain
5 meters, everyone.
So do we need to get inside somewhere that can be protected?
Would I do that?
Well, does this protection spell move with you?
No, it's whenever I cast it. Let me read the spell in it. Ward, I may protect the faithful from supernatural beings. Blah 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 blah. To cast the spell, most burns him some players. All right. While the ward is active, all allies within 5 meters add +1 to the defenses. Right. Okay. So it's on me, and it's anyone within 5 meters of me.
That's okay.
So it doesn't matter where you are; it's where I am. I'm going to cast that.
If you cast, I didn't know if you were doing a spell and it did it on the area, and so it might be best to do this spell once we're inside.
Yeah. That's why I thought it was Gaz until I just read it there now. But I thought I casted like the ordinary bless in D&D, and it moved around with you, but it doesn't work that way. So okay, I'll cast it.
Okay, you can work out those results when you go through that. Divya, what are you expressed a desire to destroy this thing and kick it over? As I said, it is quite large, but you can still make that attempt if you wish to.
I'll try and get Sujit. Is it Sujit the driver?
Yeah, he is.
To drive over it. Oh.
What, you want me to drive over?
Yeah, destroy this.
It's...
John,
Yes.
The combat's over from the thing we
Abomination.
did with the boats, the bus. I mean, so does our hand go back up to 4? Because I'm only at 3.
No, it doesn't. You do that at the end of an act. This is only a single act encounter thing, so it's scenes.
Yeah, I'm not sure it might, like, I'm not sure that's going to be good for to the van.
Can I use my Cosm card?
You can use your Cosm card whenever you wish to.
I'd like to
Which
use
Cosm card are you using?
Sinister Secrets to know what this is.
Yeah, sure. Make a corruption test, first of all.
That's good, right?
You can spend a possibility on that if you wish to.
Yes, please.
Otherwise, your charisma will drop by 1. It's fun if you do, but...
I was meant to do that as freaking in a combat.
Okay, plus 2 defense, all within 5 meters of me. That's cool. So that's a 14. So that's a bonus number of 1 added to your spirit or willpower.
7.
So and then add the 1.
What? 8.
Okay, drop your charisma by 1.
Okay.
Corruption creeps into you. Nothing you can do about it. Kerry, you're Chiam standing there and he's just, this is not, I don't know what this thing is. I hate not knowing what this thing is. Is there anything I can do to find out what this thing is? And then just literally in your ear, something whispers, I can tell you everything you need to know for a price. Are you willing to pay? You might be able to save your friend. No.
Yes, please.
Do you say that out loud?
Yes, tell me everything.
You look around and there's nobody around you. This voice that is in your head, it feels like the whisper of 1,000 ancient graves. Yet it's tinged with what you can only describe as there's a taste of blood in the back of your mouth as it speaks. The altar before you can be used to anchor the invading reality to your realm. It is guarded, and I will take any attempts to destroy it. Very personal. But that is a risk I suspect your kind willing to take, is it not? There is a creature in the jungle that I have tasked to defend this stele. And beyond, in the rice field, your friends and family, well, my army. When the sun sets, they will come to tear the flesh from your bone. Perhaps you can defend yourselves in the meantime. But back to whatever you wish to do to my stelae. And then you just got this shiver down your spine again. And the present goes. You go to just like rearrange yourself, and you sort of go to move your glasses further up onto your nose, and you look down in shock. Your right hand has, for all intents and purposes, looked like it's aged 20 years, including about 4 or 5 inches worth of accelerated nail growth. The skin's wrinkled across the entire hand, and there is a spattering of liver spots playing across the back of your knuckles and across your wrist. Nobody else heard that, but the next time you see Shyam's hand, if he keeps it out in the open, It looks freaky weird.
So are you going to tell us about that?
Yeah. I've heard a voice said that thing anchors its reality here. That we're going to be attacked when nightfall comes.
Then we should destroy it.
It said that if we destroy it, something will come to defend it.
Well, that's good. Get
But
the
he'll
bus
be
and
more-
run it over.
They'll
I'm
be
going to
more
die anyway.
powerful with it, surely. So we can't let this stand.
Just to clarify, Kerry, the voice actually told you it can be used to anchor my reality here. Didn't say it was being used.
Oh.
But the conversation went the way it went.
Hmm.
Come on, Mr. Bus Driver.
Just drive over it.
We must destroy it and see what happens. Prepare yourselves for what comes out of the jungle.
It's okay. I've got my down card ready.
Can I prepare myself by finding a useful weapon?
You
Yeah,
can
maybe we
certainly,
could
I
do
mean,
that
you have a
before we-
village to search if you want to search it before you do anything else.
Yeah, I think we
at
should do
least
that.
one of you has keys to Rajan's house.
I mean, should we also look at search for traces of the people who have apparently disappeared?
Did you tell us that they're in the rice field, or have you not told us that bit?
Oh, yes. They're in the rice field, yeah. And our loved ones are swelling their army.
Yep. Your friends and family are in the rice field to the east, swelling the ranks of my army.
We
the word
should
he
get
used.
there first then and stop them swelling the army.
Not before we arm ourselves.
Decisions. As the clock tick, ticks
We must
down.
rescue our loved ones.
Would they not be like them other creatures that were after the boy, though?
Yes, they're turning our loved ones into more of their, what do they call them?
Gospog.
Gospogs. I'll start walking towards the rice fields.
Who's got the key to Rajan's house then?
I don't have any keys.
Probably me.
Got player
And
beats,
I'm
and that's
walking
about it.
towards the rice fields.
Yeah, let's say because Divya is the friend of the family. Shilpa might have been given a key as well. In fact, saying
Wait,
that,
that's.
Shyam was probably given a key because he's best man.
Oh yeah, Cheyenne man.
So at least
there.
3 of you have got a key.
We go and search his house.
So you're splitting up. Okay.
I'm going to the rice fields.
Searching the house first. Who else is searching the house? Who else is going to the rice field? Is anyone else doing anything different?
I'll be searching as well.
So we've got 2 people searching the house.
Well, maybe the well. I don't know.
I was thinking about
It's
looking at
marked
the
on the
well.
map, so there should be something to it.
I'm thinking, bringing up the well bucket and see if anyone's hiding down there.
Okay. Right. So we'll start with Vikas bringing up the well bucket. Is Shilpa doing anything, or are you not there, Skull? You've been a bit quiet.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. What's Shilpa doing?
I'll watch the man do it.
Okay, so Sujit and Shyam are searching houses, probably Rajan's house. Vikas is pulling the well bucket up from the well. Divya, the young girl, although the now begunned young girl, is heading towards the rice fields.
What's the measurement on this map?
You can see it 5 meters down in the bottom left-hand corner.
So 5 meters. Ooh, yeah, the tail. Draw myself a little line.
Basically, just so you know, Divya, it will, the area, it will, to get to the fields and back, will definitely use up a time token. But obviously that also depends on what happens down at the rice fields. but we'll get to you
we
in a
haven't
minute.
got time to search. We've got to get to the rice fields.
But decisions have been made. So the first things first, 3 of you head into Rajan's house to do a search there. While you're heading in that direction, the Paraji is pulling the bucket up from. It's definitely heavy. There's something in it.
Yeah.
It feels about the right weight for water.
Oh.
It's getting quite dark, however, as it becomes closer and closer to sunset. So as you hand over hand the bucket up, you're not able to see much of any detail until the bucket's at about 2 or 3 feet away from the lip of the well.
I see hands.
You don't see hands, but the well bucket's quite big, probably a good 10 or so inches round. You can see in the evening light that there is an obvious taint of red to the water. And as you pull the bucket up and just rest it on the lip of the well, something rolls up and surfaces within the bucket, and there is a severed human head, its eyes wide open, looking directly at you. It's Rajan's father. Give me a spirit roll. That really, really, really shook you. Like, scream out loud, shook you.
Do I see this as well? 'Cause I'm sort of standing by the well watching him.
Oh, you're watching him? Okay, make a similar one. I thought you were with Sujit and Shyam searching the house, but if you're by the well, go ahead.
I was just watching. So spirit.
You sort of see the priest's reaction, but what you see is just slightly afterwards, because he screams and just knocks the bucket away. So the bucket clatters on the side of the well, and the head just rolls 3 or 4 times before coming to a rest, like face up, about 3 or 4 feet away from the well, off to one side. So not directly staring you in the face, but you've met Rajan's family. You've met the parents, shall we say, and you see the unmistakable face of Rajan's father.
Did I lose something because I get that one? Did I get shock or something?
Yeah, we can take a couple of shock for that. It's not a problem. Meanwhile, with the guys searching, I mean, you literally you've just started searching when you hear Vikas's cry outside.
I'd probably run and see what it was.
Sujit, if you run, you're not going to have to make this. But Shyam, again, you're a relatively close friend of the family. You're a business acquaintance, but again, you're the best man, so you've met the parents of the groom on more than one occasion before now. So again, go for a spirit check, please, or willpower if you have it.
7.
Very good. Divya's walking towards the field. Don't worry. That's a 1 onto your spirit.
8.
8. Yeah, you're stymied, probably very stymied at this point, and you can feel bile rising in your throat as you start to think what might have gone on here. You can decide if that stops you in your tracks, or does it redouble your efforts to search. It's that sort of an encounter that might have either one of those otherwise diametrically opposed feelings.
It makes me more determined to find something useful to help.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, shouldn't there be some sort of like traces around for what has happened, like blood splatters or?
You'd think that. You haven't found any yet.
which is strange.
Maybe the head fell down the well and they didn't notice it falling down the well, and then they just.
Okay, so just so you know, searching or scavenging for a full test will take up a time token because you do spend a significant amount of time looking. You could also do evidence analysis to see if you can find any clues about what happened beyond the obvious severed head evidence.
Well,
and it's going to take Divya. You're going to about halfway through their searching. You'll be within sight of the rice fields. Get to you once the guys have had an initial search.
okay.
It's just a horror world, isn't it? So does the head start talking to us?
No, not yet. Okay. Anyway. So what's Shyam doing? Are you doing evidence analysis or find?
I don't have evidence analysis, so
you can still try it to mind check, but not a problem. So you're looking for stuff rather than clues, okay?
Yeah.
Difficulties for finds, they're standard, so it's all off of 10s.
$12.
Okay, we've got that one banked. That's a standard success. I'll give you some choices in a minute. I'll tell you what you're finding in your initial looking. Sujit, you're searching as well, yeah?
Yep. Right.
Remember, you can spend possibilities on these rolls if you wish to.
Oh, yes, please.
Well, so that's
classes of plus.
Yeah, spend possibility on that.
It's a 26 on Shyam's and a 31 on Sujit. Shilpa and Vikas, as you're at the town, you can also either elect to search or evidence analysis to see if you can piece together some idea of what took place here.
Evidence analysis then, I guess.
Who's played the martyr card?
I'm sure that's a fail.
It's a martyr card do again. I've forgotten.
You can choose to sacrifice yourself to gain a significant advantage, essentially killing something, or you can hand it in for a possibility.
Oh, okay. Taking a possible.
And you get to use a card. Get a glory card instead. Switch them out. Switch a Rooney. Remember, Shilpa, you can spend a possibility if you wish. Evidence analysis is indeed off of mine. And Vikas, you can do searching and evidence analysis if you wish as well.
Oh, I can do. Okay. I will do.
Pulling the thing up out of the well was.
What is evidence analysis?
Off of mind. You don't have it?
I don't have it, so I'm just going to go off the mind. I just want to find stuff. I don't want to look for weapons. I don't look. And what's the target?
Well, standard. So just the more you can get, the more information you get.
Okay, I'll use a possible.
Is it too late to? Well, I haven't seen the head yet, but is it? I've got the mark of terror, custom guard. Could I play that for the statue? It basically just gives me a possibility.
You can play it now if you want, and I'll let you know what happens in a second.
I can play a card out of my hand, can't I?
You're not in combat, so you can play a card from anywhere, yes.
Okay, I'll add that. That gives me 20 for my evidence analysis.
Cool. So, starting out with the searching. Sujit, what was your search total?
What was it? 18.
18. Well, that's a good success. And you're searching in Rajan's house as well, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. You're searching through the first couple of rooms of the ground floor. You don't find it. So you quickly decide to search upstairs. And you're going through the main bedroom, trying to work out what the master bedroom is. And Yeah, there does appear to have been a struggle here, but you're not really getting much information. It won't be the only thing. You're not piecing much together. You're more concentrating on finding things. So you head into what you think is one of the main bedrooms. And lying on the bedside table next to a large double bed is a .38 revolver.
Whoa.
However, that is of secondary interest, but you still pick it up. Doopy-doopy-doo. So open your character sheet and add it to your inventory.
Yeah.
Because lying on the bed, blood soaking the white shirt that the body is wearing is a body. You get a bit closer, and there doesn't appear to be any movement. As you draw closer, just trying to investigate, it does appear to have there is a large wet wound in the torso that is where the blood has soaked through. And just as you've convinced yourself that this is a corpse, it breathes in with a rasping, rattling breath, which is what shakes you, and you swear out loud. You've gained a twitch, shall we say, from that shock. And as you step back, the figure's face turns towards you, and it is a white man with a well-groomed, handlebar moustache and mutton chops, like sideburns.
Mm.
And he looks towards you. Where am I? What happened? Who are you? And then collapses back down. Kerry, what did you get on your search?
18.
Okay, so that's another good success. You also go into Rajan's house, but you continue to search the ground floor when Rajan goes upstairs. You search the kitchen. You find some knives, which might be of use. You're not entirely sure. But you go through the door in the kitchen to a small outbuilding, which looks like a workshop of some kind. And the things you're able to find in there that are probably of most use are you find a series of glass jars, some Hessian cloth, and a jerry can which appears to be about 2/3 full of petrol. And in the time, thinking you might need to defend yourselves, you use those to build 3 petrol bombs, which I've just put on your character sheet.
Can I make another one out of my tequila bottle?
You can have a 4th one with the same stat, no problem at all.
Do you have a lighter? Match.
So, Vic has got a 20 on evidence analysis. What did Shilpa get?
Oh, it was nothing. I rolled a 3, so it's not going to pass.
Okay, you're following the priest around, so you're sticking together. You find, Skellen, you're not able to piece anything together, but you do find bloodstains, broken-in doors, shattered windows, and damaged furniture in every house you check. Luckily, the priest with his inquiring mind, at each point when you find something, he is able to then point out details that you overlooked. For example, all of the walls that are damaged and what's left of doors all have small scratches on them, the sort of scratches that fingers would make. You are certain, Vic asked, that each house was 100% broken into. You find evidence that the occupants fought back the best they could. And from each house, and this is every house in the village, you find this evidence in the same one, you find tracks indicating that people were dragged out of their houses, and each and every one of the tracks leads down the path toward the rice field. You find small bits of vine snagged in various places. The same sort of things that you saw running between the corpse pieces of the Gosbog you encountered at the petrol station. And whilst one last thing, every single clock in every single house is showing 3:24 a.m. However, strangely, on one of these, you just take the clock down off the wall to double check, and you turn it around, and as is quite ubiquitous, they're those, the cheap front with the little generic square clock engine with batteries on the back. And you fiddle with it, turn it around, and it's ticking again. And after about 10 seconds, it stops ticking. Every single vehicle is still in town. You find Rajan's car and several motorcycles. But you do note furrows, fresh furrows, in the muddy road to the west, which heads towards Dindagull, which is another village in the local area. So with that chilling information, Divya is approaching the rice field. Please make me a stealth test, Gaz.
Dex.
So, if Divya's going to die now, and I should grab all her possibilities before it happens.
12.
Okay. Being cautious, you decide to sneak for the remaining section. You know the lay of the land, relative local, so you are able to get yourself a decent vantage point before you get within line of sight of the rice fields. Please make me a willpower check.
Which is...
Spirit, if you do not have willpower.
Spirit.
Willpower a skill?
Yes.
Like bind and all that stuff.
Yes, indeed it is.
10.
10 total.
Yes.
It's good. Luckily, it was just a standard one. Again, bile rises in your throat as you see the hellish scene unfolding in the rice fields. The fields are just a muddy quagmire, being picked over by dozens of hunched figures. Most of them appear to be the plant extruded corpses of the kind that you encountered back at the petrol station. And they appear to be methodically digging shallow, muddy graves in the fields. If they're not digging graves, they are dragging bodies down the sodden rows between the graves from 2 or 3 large piles of corpses that are off to one side of the field. There is one figure that stands apart from the rest of them, though. A hunched back figure wearing what looks like Victorian-styled clothing and a sewn-together Hessian sack mask on its head. The mask has a ghoulish, frowning face sewn into it that you can just about see from this distance. When you first notice him, he is in the process of driving his clawed fingers into the chest of a corpse that you recognize as Madura's mother, so the bride's mother. He then stands, waves to one of the stalking Gospog, and orders it in formal-sounding English, "Plant that one down there," gestures down towards one of the rows. There are piles of hundreds, perhaps thousands of bodies in this field, and evidence in covered graves that more have already been buried here. And you are certain that that number of bodies would not have been just the village of Chuckmully. Okay. You draw aim.
How far away is he? Is he within 200 meters?
He's probably within 200 meters, but bear in mind there are dozens of other figures in and around the area. Need to make another quick roll. But go ahead and do what Divya wants to do.
I'm just aiming at the moment, nothing else.
Okay. Well, we're not in combat
Can you
round, so
hit
you've got
him?
all the time you want to aim.
And I'm holding that aim, just sort of watching. And
He is
weighing
continues
up
to go through. I mean, you probably wait
is
for a
everyone
good
already dead?
5. Give me a find check. It's going to be challenging because you're probably at a good 300 meters distance from the nearest pile.
Never mind.
You watch as 5, 6, 7 corpses are dragged from the pile nearest to you, and they aren't moving. I mean, looking at the state of the pile, if anyone was still alive in that pile, at the bottom, they'd have suffocated. You hold the aim for about 5 minutes, just the bile rising in your chest as you watch methodically the desecration and incarceration of dozens and dozens of corpses. And in each of these instances, you see the hunchback man pull something from a large sack on his belt, and then at each one, he drives his fist into the chest, and then his hand comes out empty. And at that point, one of the Gospog around the field comes and drags the body away and begins to just, with its hands, just scrape muddy dirt over, covering every single corpse.
I'll release the. I don't know what's it. Release the catch on the gun, or whatever it's called, and put it back in its holster, and then
Okay.
slink back, fighting back the tears.
Okay,
And
give
then-
me a stealth check on your way back.
Oh crap! This is where it goes wrong. I will possibility it.
Okay, give me a second. I just need to check something.
Oh, maybe not.
No.
Okay.
And no. Okay. So that's a 14. So it's only a 1.
I haven't rolled again yet. That was my.
Oh, that was your other one. Yeah, that was
before. Hang on. What am I doing? What's it come off? It comes off
Dex.
dexterity,
Stealth.
isn't it? That's it. Checking my cards. Sorry.
I'm going to say probably that you're currently not very stymied, but you're going to be stymied by that, by what you've seen.
Yes.
Nice additional roll.
Do I get to
No, it is
reroll as well?
you don't reroll on a 20 unless you've got skill.
I've got stealth, but I still
you
get to
can
roll
reroll.
it, even though
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
right. It's 28. So 32. Which is plus 10. So that's 21.
Okay, I'm just going to make a
So
quick perception
17.
check.
Very stymied. 17.
You think about it, and this is something that I don't think.
You managed to get out of line of sight with the field without a problem. And there's just, I don't know, something at the back of your mind, halfway back, just tells you to take cover. And you do. At this point, the sun's very low in the sky. It's like now it's almost entirely dusk. Not completely black yet, not full night, but the shadows are long and lengthy. And you just duck into the jungle on the north side of the track about a split second before something long and feline makes its way onto the track from the south side. You can't make out much detail, but it appears it's about 15 feet long.
Oh.
And yeah, you can't see detail, but that's tiger. It moves with cat-like stealth, and as it passes your position, not seeing you, the two things that you note are it does give a deep guttural growl as it walks, but it's not breathing. And it just silently pads down the path till it gets out of sight, and you suddenly find that you've been holding your breath. And the instant it's out of sight, you break cover and begin running back town.
So was it heading towards the rice fields?
It seemed to be tracking toward the rice field.
Oh, was it tracking me towards the rice fields?
Ooh, let's hope they don't make it tiger.
Right, yep, I'm heading back towards them.
Okay, so Gads will arrive shortly back at the place, but in the meantime, your actions have used up another time token. So we'll assume that after searching, the remainder of you have met back at Rajan's house, and, well, you've found interesting things, and one of you has found someone. Up in the bedroom, Sujit, what are you doing? The man who just briefly woke up, you can now see that his chest is moving up and down. He is breathing, quite shallow, but he is breathing.
Okay, so I know he's alive.
He is alive, yes.
Right. My character's intelligence is crap, and he hasn't got first aid. So I'll quickly run down, sort of call for the others and say, "Hey, there's this strange man in the bed here. He's clearly seems to be dying. Someone please."
Oh, Shine, we'll go and have a look at him.
Do you know first aid?
Might as well have a look at him too.
I don't know first aid. I'd probably kill him.
No, I don't know first aid.
I don't know first aid either, but I have other things I can do.
Is he unconscious?
What was that somebody said?
Is he awake?
Yeah, well,
He is not awake at the moment. He is breathing. His breathing is shallow and rasping. You can see that his chest is wrapped in makeshift bandages, but they have been soaked through with blood, which has continued into his white shirt and has stained the bed upon which he lays.
I'm going to try and soothe him. It doesn't remove wounds, it just removes shock, but maybe it'll wake him up a bit.
I'll go and get him some water.
35.
Well,
That's a very good soothe.
10, 5, 23.
Okay, a
That is
wave
good
of soothing energy at the prayer to one of the Hindu gods goes through, and he
covers for shock.
he recovers shock, and he jerks his eyes, jerk awake, and he goes to sit up in bed, but then crumbles back as the sneeze hits him. No, as the pain in his wound comes through. Where am I? Where am I? What time is it? How long till sundown?
1 hourglass.
You reckon? Yeah, you probably got a couple of hours before
Couple of hours.
full sundown.
You're in a village. You might
whatever it's called.
He seems to be looking around wide-eyed. Some calming words from yourself. Bear in mind, not all of you speak English. Those of you that do have it on your character sheet with language English.
Okay.
I've got it.
And so all you knew, Badger, from what you said before, he sounds English. I don't have a clue what he's saying. He's probably asking for a cup of tea or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said there because I forgot.
He looks at you, Vikas, and he seems to be surprised at your appearance, but then calms down. So, where am I? What is this place? Where are my manners? I am Gant, Edward Gant, in Her Majesty's 5th Fusiliers. And you are?
I am Vikas. I am a... Oh, God, I have to go to the page. I am a Pirani. I was meant to provide a wedding here in this village, but everyone seems to be dead or...
You're a pagan
vanished.
priest.
Pagan? No. I'm
Understood,
pagan.
understood.
I'm Hindu.
Yes, of course, I understand. All natives have their own beliefs. We know these things. There was an attack here last night. I can remember.
Why were you
Swarms
here?
of bats and gospog descended upon the place.
Bats.
Yes, the bats. They wouldn't have been natives, like myself. They have probably come with the invaders. They work at the behest of the tiller.
I think he's not speaking full English. There's something wrong. Keeps on talking about
see.
killers and...
You don't... Okay.
Well, like, you understand my language, because I just spoke my language too.
He doesn't understand what you're saying, but I can see from the look of confusion in your face, my words are not making sense. I'll try to begin from the beginning. I am not from here. I am not from Earth. I am from a world named Gaia. A world that has been invaded much like yours has been. by a dread figure known as the Gaunt Man. He has been there decades. He has turned my world into a realm of nightmares and unending horror. I know some basics about how these things work, and I know a few things about what's happening in the fields to the east of this village.
The person who's been unconscious for a long time, he seems to know a lot.
Now, this occurred before I lost consciousness. The creatures that the Tiller uses, he is a hunchbacked fiend. He drives these undead before him. They have been brought from Gaia. They are grown from the corpses of my brethren, not yours.
Whatever happened to the kid, by the way?
He'll still be hanging around Sujit, so he probably screamed a little bit earlier on when Gant woke up as well.
Okay.
The Tiller has the capacity to make more of the creatures, and that is what he is intending to do with all of the corpses he will have gathered last night.
There's no survivors, you're saying? Just you?
I did not see any survivors, no.
How did you survive?
It is difficult for... I do not know. The images aren't clear. All I can remember is nothing was attacking me. And he goes quiet for a second and seems to be racking his brain for something. It's all a blur at the moment. I cannot make sense of it, but all I know is that it is likely that the Tiller can sense that the living are within this village again. And at nightfall, I suspect he will send things here to attack.
Make it sound like you're not living.
No, I am. I am living. I have an image of a man's face. Swarthy, brown like yourselves. And then he looks around and he looks at the other side of the bed. And you can see there's a family picture of Rajan's parents, Rajan and himself. Gant leans over and grabs the picture and looks at it, and his hand is trembling while he's holding the picture. And he puts a bloody finger down, and his finger hits Rajan full in the chest. I think I killed that man. But I do not know how. Is this man precious to any of you?
Just hold on a second. Talking to the rest of the group. Be right back.
His body is beginning to shake, and he's racked with sobbing.
Oh, I was about to run. So there's two other people in here with me, isn't there? What do you think? What do you think?
Well,
no.
Well, there's but if he killed Rajan, then yeah, I don't know.
He doesn't think he's living, and he thinks he's living, and he doesn't think he's living. I don't know what's going on.
He's certainly alive. You're looking at him. He's definitely alive.
Yeah, but he said something that he was. They would sense the living. He sensed the living arrived, which means he didn't think he was living.
Well, he's gained consciousness. You're certain he probably considers himself in that state.
Oh, being scholarly there. Oh, okay.
Where is Rajan?
Well, I say to him, where did you put Rajan then after you killed him? Do you remember?
I can't remember. But if he was dead, the tiller would have dragged his body to the fields.
He says the hunchback probably dragged him to the fields. Didn't the girl mention a hunchback?
She's not back here. The little boy mentioned a hunchback.
That's what I meant. The little
Jayesh
boy.
mentioned a hunchback.
Just talking to the others, because I think they spoke to him.
Perhaps are just cowards and ran, fled, and hid, and that is why it survived.
No, Majesty's Fusiliers would never be so cowardly. But then, my regiment would be here.
That's a
I
long
came
time,
here alone.
since the British were here.
Flew here alone. I remember the wind on my face. The darkness. The clouds parting. And feeling moonlight. I remember feeling moonlight.
Right. Do you remember what type of plane you were in?
I remember moonlight on my wings.
Yep, he's insane.
I have no idea what he's saying, but
He's saying he was flying and the moonlight was on his wings.
He
Right.
looks up at you again with a look of terror on his face. What time is it? How long before nightfall?
3 hours now. 3 hours. It's increased.
so we got
Get out of here.
we got this crazy Englishman, and he's killed Rajan.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Why should we?
he thinks he can fly, and he loves the moonlight, and yeah.
What was his name?
The Englishman,
What was his name?
himself as Gant, Edward Gant.
Edward Gant. And he thinks he's a part of some British army, and he's over here with his regiment. And when's the last time the British were here? We drove them out.
Actually, yeah, well, there was that, and they sort of left. It was all very civilized in the end.
Do all of your regiment have wings?
No, they don't. And again, he's briefly racked with sobs, and then again he looks up. I think that you need to tie me up or put me somewhere. I feel I am a danger to all of those around me.
Do you have an urge to drink blood?
No, but I feel I am familiar with the taste.
Oh.
Right.
I'm inclined to agree that we should tie him up.
What?
Does anyone remember how you kill vampires? I didn't watch the films last week.
Never mind that. Let's just shoot him.
Okay, try that. Try that first. And if that doesn't work,
What if he's just mad?
we can try this the non-violent way first. Let's tie him up.
Well, are you
And then
willing to? Do you really want to gamble with that? Like
Campbell?
Tie him up with something silver.
something?
Oh, this is a wedding. There'd be loads of silver, but they'd be on the corpses. Ah!
At this point, Gaz, Divya runs back into town.
Woohoo!
She covered in silver.
Well,
Jewelry.
for her to say. You can't see anybody.
Imagine
The door to Rajan's house is open.
Is there a head on the floor?
There is a head on the floor by the well, yes.
have to spot it though.
But it might be difficult for you to spot because
Can I hear
distance and
noises coming
darkness.
from inside?
Give me a find check.
Ooh.
14, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. You can see signs. You think people have probably gone into Rajan's house, and then you can hear sounds coming from upstairs.
Ooh.
I will go into the house.
Okay, you find everybody gathered upstairs. I don't know, is Shilpa upstairs?
Do we still have?
Are
Skull?
any of us there?
Yeah, the rest of most of you are upstairs. You haven't taken Gant out of the bedroom that Sujit found him in. I'm just wondering, is Shilpa downstairs or has she gone upstairs with the others?
I'd be just there with the others.
Okay, so everybody's upstairs. You find everybody upstairs in Rajan's bedroom, talking to a white fella whose chest is awash with blood.
We need to leave now. There is too many of them.
What language are you talking? Are you saying that in Hindi or English?
Hindi.
Okay.
I have seen many. There will be, within a few short hours, could be hundreds of them. You said hundreds, didn't you? I think. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, there were certainly hundreds or thousands of corpses, and there were dozens and dozens that you could see of the gospel.
So there could be hundreds of thousands getting born in a few hours. We need to leave this place.
Well, what do we do with this guy?
Who's this guy?
He thinks he's
I do not recognise him. Or do I
What
recognise him?
No, you don't recognise him. He's not local.
Right. It's all right then.
Everyone.
Give me a find check for you. Actually, yeah, find. Yep.
Because everyone knows about vampires, don't they? Not like no one would know about them. It's 11.
19.
He makes your finger twitch.
Oh.
The trigger finger on your right hand. He makes it twitch. Needless to say, you don't know what that means. It's the first time you've ever encountered this kind of thing. But, yep, it's like every few seconds your right index finger is involuntarily twitching, almost all the way up into the palm.
Who is he?
He said his name is Gant, and he said he's from some British regiment, and they came here, and he said he was flying in the moonlight, and he thinks he's drank blood recently, and he thinks he killed Rajan's father. Oh no, sorry, he thinks he killed Rajan.
That's better.
And Rajan's and Rajan's father's dead outside, so don't worry about that one yet.
Just drop these bombshells on me. Don't worry about it.
That's okay. And he says a big hunchback man's dragged all the bodies out to a field in the east. And
I'm sorry, I can't understand what you're saying, but it is clear that we need to find some way to incarcerate me, and you need to defend yourselves.
I interrupt him while he's talking, so just aim the revolver at him and say "shut up" and whatever. I mean.
Oh, by the way, do you know anything about a statue outside? It's called a
Stellai.
Stellai.
Well, we don't know what it's called.
Oh, no,
we do. I read the map.
No. Carrie's character was told it was Brian, and he told us.
Oh, right.
He looks up at you with Badger. He looks up at Sujit with a look of incredulity. You're pointing a gun at me. Interesting. Again, this weird stiff upper lip seems to kick in, and he responds to Vikas. Yes, that is called a stele. They are the means by which they anchor their realities here. The one outside is not active. It is a backup.
Ooh, if we break the backup and someone breaks the original, then they'd be in trouble.
But it will be guarded. I would warn you not to go close.
Well, I'm getting this funny feeling that you're the guard.
No, I'm not.
I saw something else outside as well. There was something large, almost tiger-like.
Well, Sham's looking around for strong bindings and a suitable lockable place, so not tied up yet.
How do you know so much about this hunched man and
I have
his ways?
seen him do this before. Of that I am certain. But the images, the recollections, they are jumbled. Some of them I am remembering from behind a red haze and from above. Viewpoints I'm not familiar with.
Ooh, these bats you were
Can I
talking
go
about.
search for a sharp knife or something?
Yeah, you can go downstairs to the kitchen. It's not a problem.
If he's a Fusilier, has he not got a sword or something?
He doesn't have his uniform. He's got his uniform trousers, but again, he's got his shirt, but no jacket, no gear. Rough bandages across his torso.
I will choose the largest, knife or axe if they happen to have one. Don't know if they have an axe for the jungle around.
No, but you're looking around in the kitchen. You find a couple of decent-sized knives. You find a couple of. You actually find a sort of dinner plate, metal dinner plate. It's quite thin, reflective.
Any garlic?
Possibly silver.
Isn't that for werewolves? I don't know.
The plate has it's quite a nice plate. It's got embossed images of Hanuman around the edge, so it's obviously a expensive family thing.
Can I grab some garlic from the kitchen as well? I presume.
Why not? Yes,
Just stuff him full of garlic.
Why not?
It's all worth a try, isn't it? These things.
This is the question: do they have garlic in India?
Yeah, blatantly they do. It's a major component of curry.
I hope they do.
Maybe they've got a space that if they put it inside a vampire, it bursts into flames.
I'll go back up and wait.
Maybe they've just got garlic, or maybe they've got curry powder hot enough to make them burst into flames anyway. By this point, Cheyenne would have been able to tie his arms and legs
without any ceremony. I think I'll crack a garlic bulb on his forehead, and then
he looks. I do not know what you're attempting, young lady, but I do not think that will do aught but make me reek of foreign food.
It's all right. At least we'll know you're coming. And then I'll put the mirror to his face, so I can see inside it.
Okay.
So I can see his reflection. Sorry.
He looks at himself and seems to recoil slightly, but he reflects. I'm a man of honor. This should not be happening to me.
Try putting the actual silver on him then. On his forehead again.
There is a light, and he does flinch. And when you pull the silver away, there's a sort of a reverse image of Hanuman off of the plate on his forehead. What? No, that cannot be. You must incarcerate me.
You are not meant to be.
Ask this guy why we shouldn't just kill him.
Have I found somewhere to lock him in?
You've found you can either find there's going to be a cupboard on this floor with a relatively sturdy door, or a cupboard downstairs.
And something to tie him with.
Yeah, you've already tied his arms and legs with some
there's
additional sheets.
There's not a cellar or anything we could put him in?
No, there's no cellars here.
Oh.
It's not that close to the Evil Dead.
Did everyone search all the other houses, by the way? Because
some of the houses have been searched, but So he's tied up.
I've got my gun to
And-
his head with a silver bullet ready.
Okay. I do not wish to die. You will need me. Their numbers will be innumerable. There is no way you can get far enough in the time. You must defend yourselves.
You will not help us when that sun goes down.
I fear you may be right, young miss.
Then we cannot allow you to stay here.
Oh, could we use
Then lock me in one of these cupboards. They are sturdy.
him? Yeah.
Yeah, dragon torch.
Ask somebody to check how sturdy these cupboards are.
Shyam has already double-checked, and he's found a relatively sturdy cupboard.
Yeah, but sturdy for what? Sturdy for a human breaking out, or sturdy for whatever this is? That.
I'll make it sturdier by whatever means possible. I'll drag a cupboard in front of it or something.
Okay.
When
He does not resist if you're placing him within. But even
Right.
as you're placing him within, I would help you defend, but you must defend yourselves. Do what you can. Barricade yourselves in. You will not make it in the dark. You will
We
not
will.
make it in the dark.
But nor will you. I will put the silver plate in with him so that if he tries to move, it'll at least
Sure.
burn him and hopefully slow him down a bit. He's still tied up, I assume.
Yep.
That's all right.
And you can just hear him quietly sobbing in the cupboard.
Set to, well, at least he's alive. Set to barricading the windows and the front door, locking everything, getting the furniture in the way of it all.
How much more silver is there out there? If you've got one plate, is there any more?
Well, if you want to make in the last hours, you have time to find tests to gain appropriate barricade material. You will get a number of tokens worth of material for any success, and then you can utilize those to give the house some defense.
Silver defense.
Let's do it.
The quantity of defense is going to be determined by your final successes in these find checks. So they're against difficulties 10s.
I got 11. So I got beat 10. Phew.
I'm going to spend willpower. That puts me at 11.
Okay.
Vikas
Okay.
undoes all our good work.
No, it's all right. We'll start with Vikas. This is the finding of the stuff in the first instance. So you will all get
Is he hiding it?
no, but you will all get an item called barricade materials. It's the same item, but you can work out the quantity you get. So Vikas, on a fail, you find 5 tokens worth of barricade material. Okay. I think everybody succeeded beyond that. So, for example, Sujit, your total was an 11, yeah?
Yeah.
You find barricade materials, but it is 5 plus 5 for each level of success. So, a standard success, you find 10 tokens worth barricade material. Shyam, what was your total?
14.
14. You also find you would find 15 if you get 1 more point. But otherwise, you're currently on 10 tokens worth of barricade materials. Unless you can push your total up by 1. Or anybody else can help you push your total up by 1.
Don't know what these totals mean. What these barricade totals.
I'll give you some descriptions in a minute. Shilpa's total was a
Is it
13.
worth-
You also get 10, barricade tokens. Just when you've got your item, just go into the item under barricade materials, put the quantity to the right of the name so you know you've got 10. I've done it on your scanner. And Divya, what was your total?
11.
So you also get a standard success So you've got 10 barricade. What were those ones you were putting down? Were you doing individual barricade materials?
I pressed return accidentally and it just added loads in.
So we'll put 10 in there. So what you do with this will take us to nightfall, but we'll do the prep as it is already 25 past 11. We'll do the preparation defense next week. So what we can do, I'll go through it now, even on a failed find test, you find materials to board over windows, cover doors with furniture, and get lights going either through a portable generator or kerosene lamps. So an easy strength test will build up the barricade. Each level of success will give it 1 wound. And you'll get bonuses from inside the barricaded houses, and you'll be able to use additional tokens to give the areas of the house that you're deciding to defend more toughness or more wounds, so that the things attacking you are going to have to do more damage before they're able to get to yourself.
The thing about these houses is they don't have chimneys. Yay!
They do not have chimneys. So next week,
And
by the
made
way,
out of titanium.
you were in the scene
Silver.
Home Sweet Home. After
Oh,
you do
sweet.
your preparation, we will hit scene 3, Dead by Dawn.
Who's got the most possibilities right now? Because I want to know who I'm stealing.
you want to siphon them off?
My God. I don't like this. Oh, by the way, remind me when I'm casting, I'm a -2. Because
you're
the shield?
maintaining the other thing.
Yeah. I had to look it up and see what concentration did, and it says you're
Yep.
-2 for casting on any other spell.
Just so you know, you'll gain concealment when you're within a barricaded house. If you start fighting back, attacking through windows, cracks, and doorways, and so on, you'll get cover. And anyone who isn't trying to fight back can't be targeted until things break.
Hey, can't be targeted.
And even if you're fighting back, you won't be able to be attacked by more than 3 creatures. There's just not enough space until they break through. But once the barricade's wounds are eliminated, which is essentially going to be based on your skill checks with your strength, buffered by however many tokens you want to add to give it extra wounds, you're essentially layering more and more material.
Should find the middle house room in the house and then barricade it like crazy, and that way they have to go all throughout usually up before they get to me. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, if you want to barricade yourself into a different location at the sacrifice of not being able to cooperate with other people, then by all means, go ahead.
Oh, I can protect them because my spell is an area effect, which can go
5 meters though.
But look at the size of the house. Look at that, 5 meters.
Probably
the whole
does
house.
cover the whole house.
It does. Move all the way in. In the middle of the house, it's the whole house.
So, should we try to destroy the Stella then?
Well, we did
At
that.
this moment in time, the time you've got is enough to barricade the house.
We asked you that ages ago, and you said no. So it's a bit late now.
If somebody wants to destroy the
Needs to
Stella,
do it.
or at least attempt to do so, that will involve them not searching and not barricading the house.
Right.
You can attempt that if you wish to, but
You could throw a petrol bomb on it. Somebody's got petrol bombs.
I thought I said drive the truck into it.
I asked that. That's what I asked right at the beginning.
you
That's
did.
what I said. That's what we both said then.
But if you wish to, I mean, and you're supposed to try those sorts of things, but I will just let you know that destroying a stele, is from the rulebook, is a complicated and dangerous process. First, you've got to find it, and then you've got to actually uproot it. Unfortunately, this isn't as simple as blowing it up or knocking it over. Stelae are anchors of reality itself. A parasite grafted to the core of the land it is taken over. Uprooting one requires severing those ties by altering existence itself. So yes, by all means, you can kick it off by driving a bus into it, but the skill you'll be using to uproot a stele and the dramatic skill resolution that involves is your reality skill.
Who's got the best reality? Got two.
Got pretty
I think
decent.
we focus on barricading now, though. unfortunately.
Yeah, but if that worst comes to worst, last minute thing, I think it's going to have to be it.
And if you survive the night, it's always the following morning.
You've mentioned something about in one of the other realities they buried corpses and then they came back. They came out of the ground again.
Yes,
Can't remember which one that was.
living land.
Ah, Living Land.
But what you've just witnessed, although again your characters don't know it, but you as players do, you've witnessed the tool, or one of the major tools, that enforces the cooperation between the various High Lords. Because they all use Gospog.
Ooh.
And it's also the rather ghoulish result of the primary invasion, is that's where the dead go.
The fields?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
And there's also that, what does first planting mean?
I remember that. I was like, first one was these things, second plant was like something tougher, then was the third one, which is even worse. Something
Yeah,
like that.
there's
There.
fewer and fewer, but they get more powerful.
Yep. Okay, gentlemen, well done for getting to here. And with only one of you getting any corruption, the rest of you have resisted the urge to use your cosm cards.